firstly, my name is Holden Roy. I'm not the best at remembering to say that. And then it's a good for Mr. Flacco, Liddy Bro Flacco, to come through and take it away and explain a little bit how this all came to be and why we're even having this conversation.
Facts. Welcome, everybody. This is Bridge the Gap. We are your hosts, Holden Roy, and myself, Liddy Bro Flacco. Our guest today is Okwerdz. This whole show came about like I did a project, the Volume 1 Liddy Bros thing, right? And Holden came across like the music on some very organic shit, and like we did an interview. And in that interview, I was just like, yo, this guy really, you know what I mean? He knows what he's doing on the interview tip. And I was just like, yo, let's do something together. And let me bring some of the homies that I know to the table so that we can talk to them together, you know? And we've been doing that now. And it's been pretty great conversations all around. You know what I mean? And I think that this is going to add to it and be equally as interesting.
Yeah, no, for real. And I'm really excited too, because, you know, in a lot of cases, this is really new for me. I wasn't really an interviewer person for a long time, but also this whole battle rap journey is very new to me too. It kind of just like, I found out I'm interviewing Iron Solomon one day and I'm like,
right.
Ooh. And then so this whole thing has been this like journey of honestly discovering battle rap. It's been like I've been watching battles, but when I got to you at this point, I'm actually catching stuff properly now. I'm following references. I'm getting the differences between the smack and the URLs and the grind times and the, you know,
yeah, there's
a
lot of
lush
nuance
one is now.
Stuff.
So when I get to the Okwerdz, I'm like, okay, this is like at this point it's a little better. But what was really interesting about Okwerdz, at least for me, is so we ended up raiding MERS one day, and then I was on the MERS raid train, and 2 people after MERS was Okwerdz, and I'm like, Okwerdz, like the same. And so I checked you on the Instagram. I'm like, no, it's the same dude, and he was so cool. He was just like, yo, I'm mad excited to come do this and stuff. And I'm like, yo, not everybody's like that. Like so
not everybody is like that.
So fucking sincere. And I'm like, yo, I can't even wait. And then I was peeped his Twitch a few times, which is amazing that he's already on Twitch doing things that is blessed. And that was like just a great discovery for me.
Wild time ahead of us, yo. Like not us as in you and me, right, Holden? Because like you've been on your journey before me, right? I just got on this year, but Okwerdz was telling me about this shit how many years ago now, bro?
Man, I've been on Twitch for over probably like 5 years right now, but consistently I've been doing it for a little over maybe like a year or something like that. I always wanted to do it a lot, but I didn't really have the type of hardware that I really needed to do it right. So within the last year, we've been going pretty hard.
All right, so before we get to the last year, we should probably do it right, which is where we bring it all the way back. And I have a very like token first question I like to start with. It's a bit of a story. Where it lands, you're gonna be like, however you react, I can't predict for you. But it all starts with my girlfriend, and she's washing the dishes, and she's listening to that Black Eyed Peas song, that I got a feeling.
I got a feeling.
Ooh. And she's vibing and she's dancing.
Tonight's gonna be a good night.
So she's vibing, she's dancing, she's doing her thing. And basically it made me think a little bit about music and vibes, right? Because this is like nowadays times. And I remember like 10, 11 years ago being in the clubs, and I'm fucking dancing drunk to that very song in a circles in multiple locations as we're all doing our jump around stuffs. And it got me going, yo, that's an interesting thought, right? Like how music at one time is in the clubs, and then as time goes on, it's now like the chores and the exercise music. Because yo, even when I go exercise, it's that kind of music still. And then when I thought about it, that means autumn club songs, the WAPs, all that's the future chores music and all of that's going to get played when people's cleaning up their cribs and doing dishes and stuff in whatever's.
Definitely that new Anderson .Paak one.
And as I think about that, though, it made me go with musical journeys, because ultimately all of us usually have a bit of a musical journey when we're in these moments. I mean, this show. And so with that, like, it got me going. Most of the time when we talk about our musical journeys, it goes like to like this adolescent age when we first attached our identities to music in the first place. But really, it made me realize that it goes way, way back in time, and that the real foundation to our musical identities is more attached to like how the vibes and the sounds that existed when we were like 5, like a 5-year-old Okwerdz would have been in a room, and maybe it's the parents playing some vinyls or tapes or whatever it was. And there's certain energies and sounds. Like in my case, my dad had a lot of tapes, those gray boxes with the wires going to speakers, and he would play his Led Zeppelins and his really late 90s, like the mid 90s nighttime techno and all that stuff. And these were sounds. And my mom had her bad discos, and she would buy them out these fucking like corner stores, and they were like $3, but they were the hits done badly. And like this was just sounds that made up my whole life. And it got me wondering, what are the soundscapes of like a really 3 to 5 year old Okwerdz, and what was going on in his world at that time? What did it look like? What did it sound like?
Right.
Where were you? Let's start there.
Well, we're in Stockton, California, a little place called Stockton, California. I think when I was, the youngest memories of maybe my mom listening to music, she had a lot of Michael Jackson records on vinyl. And to this day, me and my mom are both huge Michael Jackson fans. Like my mom was literally crying when he passed away. But she was around when, Sugar Hill Gang came out, and she had it on vinyl, and, it was playing in the clubs where she was at when she was, that age. So that's the kind of shit that was around in the house. And my father liked, classic rock, the Eagles, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Jimi Hendrix, Santana, etc., that type of stuff. And which is stuff that, I still really love to this day, all that type of stuff. I listen to so many different things, but I think what got me into rap was like my older brother. I have a brother who's 6 years older than me, and he was always on to everything first,
Fair enough. That's interesting still. That seems to be like the trend with older siblings. The older siblings end up being the people who do all the heavy lifting on the finding stuff.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Just like, yo, I didn't have to ever try. It just
6 years, man. He's 6 years old. He had 6 fucking years.
Also, though, not to take away from them, but like because they were older than us, they were around back when there wasn't much of anything, right? So like if there was a cool thing that came up, it was the cool thing for the year. So everybody essentially was up on the cool thing.
Right.
They just got to be alive when that cool thing happened to be able to pass it down to us. So thank them for being older and having that,
Yeah. And this was a time when, MTV was first starting to like pop off and things like that. My brother was a total MTV fucking kid, when we were super, super, super young, you know what I mean? Because it was just starting, you know what I mean? It was like so popping at the time. But yeah, that's where I got a lot of the early musical stuff from. My mom was big Michael Jackson. That was like our shit.
Nah, it's super cool. So you gotta understand, I'm gonna go at this from multiple levels before we move on a little bit. You'll get
hit me, bro.
So at that time of your life, were you interested in pursuing music? Like, were you like already singing real loud and dancing along and doing any of that kind of stuff?
Not at all, man. When I was a little kid, I'm not like one of the child guys. I've been fucking rapping since I was 4 years old. No. When I was a kid, man, I was really into video games and movies. I was a big movie guy. Like, I think before I even got into wanting to make music myself, I wanted to be like a movie director and choreograph fight scenes and shit, like Jackie Chan movies. That's what I really wanted to do when I was a little kid. And but I never really knew how to even get into that shit. You know what I mean? My parents were busy. They wasn't gonna like take me to some audition, or I don't know how to do that shit. You know what I mean?
I was also curious what kind of games you were playing back then, because that's like some original, like that's like the NES era, no?
Yeah. Like, my first console was an NES.
That's so cool. Like, to me, at least. Maybe Flash.
Same here, bro.
Cool. Yeah, that's my first. Honestly, it aged so well. It's real great, even in 2021, to be honest.
I mean, a lot of those games are still like in New York City. What I really love about living in New York City is the fact that, and you've been here, Okwerdz, so you can testify to this. Is the fact that you walk a distance, whatever that distance is, be it 1 block, be it 10 blocks, you're gonna come across so many human beings just walking by you. And then there's so much like people here, you get such a good gauge of generally everything that's going on in the world. You're going to get people that are just migrating here from whatever country. So they're still on their country time, or they've been here for a while and they now have adopted their country's things into this New York City environment. And so like New York City, there's this huge thing. Those consoles that are like all those old NES and Genesis games, that it's all of it in, what are those things called again? I forget what they're
cartridge.
called. No, it's like the little box. It's like a box that has all those games on it already, type shit.
Okay. Oh, you mean like one of them emulator joints? Right?
Emulator. There we go. The emulator.
I use a lot of them.
Out here, those things are. You walk by any random gift shop, they have at least 10 of them stocked, because people out here, like when you're in the hood and you know you really can't afford a PS5. Like you do still want a game, and you'll still game on some old NES shit and have a good time. You know,
to Okwerdz' credit, though, the lack of graphical pushing, like I feel like in the modern era, some developers put like this heavy reliance on graphics and other aesthetics and more like cliche shit. But back then, it was like the Wild West, man. Like nobody had rules, so it was like you literally just had to write the latest game, and those are the games that people play today, or the really trash ones, which equally have value, to be honest.
Yeah, man. My first shit was the NES, and you know, me and my brother, you know, some of my earliest memories probably playing with my brother, playing Mario Brothers, playing River City Ransom, playing Mega Man, all that type of stuff.
That's fresh.
Yeah, and what you was saying about them selling all those emulator systems was crazy. Every time I see someone trying to sell one, it really makes me laugh, because anybody who has a computer can literally have the same thing. Can literally have the same thing for free. And like you have no idea how tiny those games are. If you're looking at like data on a computer, Nintendo game, pop. Oh, you want 300 Nintendo games? Boop, boop. There they are. They're already done downloading.
It doesn't take much space
they got free. They also got them on the phones. I have a free NES emulator. I never used one time on my phone, but I put it.
Well, you know, on Amazon you can buy. I'll show you right now. Actually, I do a lot of the NES speed runs on this. A Super Nintendo controller with a USB on the back.
Yo, that's fresh. I look at those on Amazon a lot.
Oh yeah,
and it's got a USB. So once you have your emulators, you have a Super Nintendo controller. It's just like a real Super Nintendo. You know what I mean? It's really no different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yo, believe it or not, I care a lot about your speed running. That shit is so cool to me.
Hey,
so anytime
thanks,
you want to talk about that, anytime, man,
you're good at that. I didn't even realize, right? Because I'm not a gamer like that, right? So like, I just always was like, I won't be interested in this. And then the other day when I stopped by it, I was like, this is interesting, actually. Like I could see myself getting caught up. Like I eventually left, and I left it on, and I didn't, New York City shit again. You leave to go to the corner bodega, and next thing you
come
know,
back.
You're out for like 2-3 hours, or like an hour, right? I go end up doing like a bunch of errands, and I come back, and I'm just like, fuck, yo, I could have fucking got caught up in this shit and not done nothing. Just like watching you play what was that? A Resident Evil?
Probably Resident Evil. Yeah, Resident Evil 1 we were working on a little bit.
Yeah.
Okwerdz. We just got a question from my side. Ismail would like to know, what is your background?
Oh, it's the cover art from my song with Method Man that we dropped about a year ago. I just threw it in the back. I have like this NVIDIA broadcast program that digitally removes my background. It's like this weird AI shit, and I can put whatever I want behind me. So it's like
nice.
It's like Method Man right here, and then I'm up here, and collages but this way.
Oh, I wonder if I have that. I'm like, Okwerdz be teaching me how to make my stuff look nice.
Which we will definitely get to. That part of the conversation. I was super like telling Holden like I have wild ideas, because there's a lot of questions I have with it. But let's keep on with this journey. You know what I mean? Like getting to know people from like young.
But were you into? But let's say like back when you were like real young, I know that you were interested in the movies, and which is cool, and that video games, because you know why video games is cool, because you played it when you're young. Right. You literally are in a monetizable position right now playing video games today.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I never would have thought. Honestly, the kids these days are so lucky, man. If I had Twitch when I was really at it as a kid, like, oh my God, dude, I could have been a millionaire already.
Man, I relate heavy to that. But like, were you into drawing?
It's funny you say that, man. I was, but I was terrible. Absolutely awful.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Once you finally try for so long and it just doesn't get better, you're just like, you know what? Maybe I just suck at this thing. You know, I can never really, you know, it's hard for me to wrap my head around the concept of people that can draw really good because I just don't understand it. Like, how do you see something and then make it look exactly like you? I can't fathom.
Yeah, nah, it's a talent. It's a talent. It's a talent. It's a talent that you hone, right? But you definitely, I think it's definitely something that you're born with. And I understand and can relate to
it. It makes no sense. Yeah, it makes no sense. It's like,
that's how I feel about producers.
It's a straight up gift. Like, how?
Sat there with equipment and tried, and I know that's not meant for me. Like, I know for a fact that thing right there, that's not meant for me. Not everybody can do that thing. And it goes to show you. Like, you gotta give people their respect for what they're able to do, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I know all the Facebook memes tell you never give up and stuff like that, but I think part of it is sometimes like you need to know when to give up and do something different.
Big facts, actually. No, because like sometimes like you have, it's like I'm 5'7" and I wanted to be on the basketball team at one point. And I had to learn that maybe professional basketball was not for me starting at 13 years old. You know, like there were some things about that equation that didn't make sense in the big picture of it, you know? But that's really cool. And at any time you want to talk about what life is like in Stockton, it's actually super interesting. Like the show's called Bridge the Gap a little bit.
Right.
Like, I'm in Montreal. There in the New York guys will like describe stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I had to go on this whole journey to like catch up and learn what a stretch and Bobito is and a lot of things because that wasn't like around for me, right? I'm not even in the same country. So when you anything you want to share about just even what it's like to be there for you growing up would also be dope stuff as well, you know? None of us were in Stockton back then.
I think you know, first of all, Stockton is a very unique place. I think it's mostly associated in the public eye with always has negative connotation, a bad reputation for lots of crime and violence and murder and things of that nature. And which there is. It's always been that way, even you know, before I was born, it was like that. So, you know, I'm, you know, almost 40, so it's been a while, but there's a lot of great things there, you know, that I like to focus on more so instead of the shit that everybody knows. You know, there's a lot of beautiful things there, and we're kind of like on the music scene, kind of like catching a little viral YouTube wave right now. It's kind of crazy what's happening in the city right now. But it's, you know, it's a unique place, man. There was you know, like when I was a kid going to school and stuff, there's, you know, a lot of gang banging and fights and, you know, just, you know, guns in your face, bullets flying past you, that kind of thing. You know, you just got to keep your head on a swivel. But at the same time, I think it really prepared me just for life in general. I think the type of, you know, it's probably one of the most, if not like, I can't say the most, but one of the most diverse places I've ever been in my life. Like literally, like everybody in Stockton has to grow up around people that are not like them constantly. You know what I mean? Like I'm thankful that I grew up in a place like that. I could feel like I could be more grounded, like the rest of the world when I move. But we have a lot of great things, man. We have some superior athletes, man. Like I think one of our high schools, Edison High School, it's I didn't go there. It's one of the fucking grimiest high schools in the whole city, man. One of the most grimiest high schools I ever even seen in real life. And it has one of some crazy statistic, one of the highest percentages of like high school athletes that went to the NFL or something like that was this high school. And fucking you know, we got the Diaz brothers, obviously motherfuckers can start to fight. That's no surprise there. But
and I think before the Diaz brothers, wasn't this dude the bad boy? No, that's one of the Diaz brothers, but wasn't what's his name? One of the early UFC guys. I forget his name. He had the colorful hair. He was doing the colorful hair before everybody in the UFC.
I don't know. I don't think he was from Stockton. I'm not sure.
He was not from Stockton.
I'm not sure. But there's a lot of people from the area, even like Ken Shamrock and stuff like that. They're like 20 minutes away from Stockton in a city called Lockford. You know what I mean? It's like super close. But, you know, even before we had Dallas Braden, who he was a pitcher for the Oakland A's. And he pitched the 19th perfect game in baseball history. Which, if you don't, I mean, I'm not much of a baseball guy. If you know what that means he struck everybody out for the entire game, and he's the 19th person in baseball history to ever do that. And I think he got like a page on fucking Sports Illustrated or some shit, like a cover story, and like it was on Mother's Day, and he's always been raised by his grandmother. His grandma was in the audience. It was like the perfect moment. You know what I mean? And he's actually a really good friend of mine. We went to school since 7th grade together. You know what I mean? Like Dallas is my homie. You know what I mean? It's just some Stockton shit. It's just because that's like my good. That's like my good friend. You know.
It takes like a movie buff to really use words like the perfect moment, in my opinion, the way that you describe that. That's amazing. I'm really glad.
I mean, it was like, think about it, man. Like fucking Mother's Day, your grandma's in the audience, you throw the 19th perfect baseball game ever.
Yeah.
Like, no, what that's the definitely fuck?
Epic. Now I know I'm a baseball guy, and I can tell you like there's a difference between a no-hitter and a perfect game. Yeah. No-hitters, many pitchers have pitched no-hitters because you can like give a walk away and let a guy get on base with a no-hitter, right?
Because he technically didn't hit.
Technically speaking, he didn't hit, right? Yeah. It's like he walked to the base. So like it's a no-hitter. There's a lot more of those than there are perfect games. Perfect games is another level of it. It's one of those very like rare, like, you know, feats that like it can still happen, but it's rare, you know, and it only comes along every so often. Yeah. There's not a guaranteed perfect game.
That's a big moment. And, you know, Stockton, we're always, you know, pushed under the rug, and people look at us just as this negative connotation. So every time something like that happens for us, we're so fucking juiced, man. We're so proud. You talk shit about the Diaz brothers out here, you're liable to get beat the fuck up, dude. It's serious. You know what I mean? Like when Nate Diaz beat Conor McGregor, it was like the biggest Stockton sports moment ever. It was insane. It was insane.
No, honestly, I it's interesting that you're sharing this, just because like I find hearing people's perspectives on this kind of stuff, like nobody like you have like I was wondering kind of like a little bit why you had such a knowledge of every like these stats like that, but then the more you describe it, it's like, yo, because the reputation is that bad, it needs to be said.
Yeah, I have to know this shit.
And I'm like, that's big, man.
Also, real quick, where can you tell people where Stockton is exactly?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Because most people, they think California. They're like, you know, people hit me up, yo, I'm in LA, dog. Let's kick it. I'm like, bro, you're over 300 miles away, almost 400 technically. It's like California is like its own country. You know, we are Stockton is about 40 minutes away driving from the capital city, which is Sacramento, where the Kings play. And we're about an hour, depending on which part of the Bay you want to go to, maybe an hour and 15 to an hour and 45 minutes from the Bay, depending where you're trying to go. And then maybe about 5.5, 6 hour drive to Los Angeles.
Yeah. You know, I honestly thought it was near LA until you said that. I think
everybody does. I mean, that's
everybody.
That's just how it is. You know what I mean?
All my friends in New York City swear, they're like, yeah, you know, we can go. Like, they've met some of my Cali friends, right?
Right.
They're like, yeah, they're making plans for LA. They're like, yeah, then we can go meet up with such and such. And I'm like, he's in the Bay. Do you know how far the Bay is?
It's quite a trip.
LA, LA.
I really didn't until this conversation.
It's quite a trip, man.
Very far
apart. Quite a trip.
It's like going from New York City to Atlanta almost. Like,
yeah, it's different. You know what I mean? We got different slang. We got everything. Everything's different. You know what I mean?
So I'm learning about like all of that stuff, but like for me, it's like, yo, I look at it like it's a state, and you look at it and it's like a chunk like that or whatever, and then there's a stick thing, and that's as far as I go. I couldn't, if you were to put like gun to my head, pinpoint LA on the fucking California map, I would panic and be like,
hey, I feel you, bro. It's a big place.
I think it's on the bottom somewhere.
I remember the first time.
It's almost all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, it's far. I remember the first time I went to New York, and as soon as the word hella came out of my mouth, everybody knew exactly where I was from.
Where you were from. Yeah, absolutely.
Instantly.
That's a, you know, that's one of those things where like I saw a show one time on the Discovery Channel, I believe, and it was like just talking about the many different accents in America, in the United States of America. And just like how much they change even within a state.
Oh, like, yeah, definitely. Or if you go live in one for a while and come back, you'll catch that accent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. This was great. I love this kind of stuff for real because it's all like context into the character of who is Okwerdz, the behind the scenes stuff that this is the kind of what this interview is. This is that like the extra setting footage that you would have on a DVD back in the day where you would get a lot of information that otherwise isn't.
Hey, that's good. People always just ask me the same shit. When you start rapping?
Yeah, that's
when you're gonna battle again.
That's why I really fuck with Holden, and that's why we doing this, because like he didn't ask me anything that was typical. And that's why I fuck with Dude heavy, because it was like, yo, you know what?
Right.
Like,
I mean, some of the typical stuff is important.
How did I go all these years rapping, doing wild interviews, and I never talked about my actual life? All I ever talked about was like hip hop and battle rap. And it's just like,
no, but it's
I
like,
have a real
it's a
life
little bit of
human being.
It's like it's hard to find that stuff. I do album reviews for years, and like there's a tier of people where like you get the wiki page, and at that point it's easy. Then you get the breakfast clubs and all that. Then even then, like Breakfast Club is alright, but like I find that if I'm trying to research, because you do album reviews and then people say research the artist, so you try, and you realize that shit's impossible to do effectively. So I felt like if I try to look you up, I can't do any kind of justice. So that's going to be even worse in the lower tiers of people, right? I try and I look at your content and I see what you're about and I try to find interviews to see how you think and things like that. But instead of worrying about it, let's just run through your life. Your life is full of stuff, and then you get to guide the ship and tell me what I need to talk about. I'm just going to be curious, and that's the whole formula, honestly, for me at least. And so like the next question though is a little bit related to some of the more cliche stuff. It is what was like the first moment where like you heard music in that, like it went from that with some stuff that's around you, like we're a Michael Jackson family, to that's my shit and that's what you wanted to listen to?
I got to give credit to, again, my older brother, and I just think just going to school in general, you know what I mean? You have, when you're a kid and you don't really know about finding your own music and stuff yet, you go to school, what are your friends listening to, and things of that nature. I think, I give a big credit to my brother and big credit to just, people at school. You'd be at school and be like, did you hear the new Snoop Dogg? Or, whatever, did you hear Ready to Die? That kind of thing. And I think that's a lot where it comes from, where I decide like this is what I like the best out of everything else. But I still, even then, I have a wild eclectic music taste. You know what I mean? But obviously, hip hop at my core for sure.
What was the first hip hop one that was like you were like, yo? Like do you remember the first?
Oh, the first rap record that got like, oh shit, my fault. The first rap record that I probably heard that got me pumped. This is gonna sound terrible, but fucking Can't Touch This, MC Hammer. That shit. I was on.
Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. Let me tell you something. I know what it is.
My music make me so bug. Make me say
MC Hammer. That was a big one. That was a big. I had the pants and the pumps, everything, bro. Serious business.
I feel you. No, I did not have the pants, but I was heavy on, right? Like we were kids. Like,
and Hammer's a real motherfucker. He'll pull up on you, bro.
Yo, real ass. Come to find out, right?
It ain't no game. It ain't no game at all. Hammer. it ain't no.
Yo, the Bay.
Not just a catchy name.
Like the way that you said that Stockton will like fight for the Diaz brothers, the Bay will fight for Hammer, and
they won't even have to, because Hammer will just do it.
He fed a lot of families out there, though. You know what I mean?
Real.
Like
he did.
Like that's a thing that, when the same way that you say like, yo, I went to school with this guy and he pitched a perfect game. That's dope. Like there's people out there in the Bay, right? That they're probably like to this generation, like, yo, my mama used to be on the road. She used to be out there with Hammer.
Right. Like, Hammer's the shit, bro. I got so much.
Honestly,
Hammer, like
I can tell you that we had his CDs growing up because my mom fucked with him. So I actually,
I love MC Hammer. I got nothing but love and respect for MC Hammer, bro.
I thought he was really good. Like if I really think about it, as a teenager, he'd be in the list of people that I listened to.
Super fire.
I mean, Can't Touch This is one of the most famous rap songs in history. It's got to be.
I was having a conversation on Clubhouse the other day, and they were talking about a new artist that's coming out of Memphis, and they were saying, how ubiquitously Memphis he is, you know, so like kind of like Crunchy Black from 3-6 Mafia, he like does a lot of dancing in his music and in the videos and whatnot. And like dudes was like, you know, that the young kids nowadays, they don't like dancing like that. I'm like, I don't think that's really true. I think that this generation is finally getting back to dancing. I was like,
everybody loves dancing.
Yeah, everybody loves dancing. First,
so
like,
I think that
anything this generation, the artists, they're starting to dance in their music videos, and that hasn't really existed since like the 80s with Kane. You know what I mean? And then in the 90s, it was just Hammer. And you know, like Vanilla Ice, you know, but like Hammer, like really like was out there, like he danced.
He did, you know? He did. He with the pants on,
with the fucking pants,
with the fucking pants. I had Reebok pumps and the pants. I thought it was so cool.
That's amazing. No, but it's cool because like, well, it's you. And that's why it's real. It's just like, you know what? I got to think about listening to that album. That's blessed. Flacco likes it. Everybody's on board. MC Hammer's
Sir Mix-a-Lot too was a big one.
Yo, Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Because the thing about Sir Mix-a-Lot is, sorry to cut you off. The thing is, Baby Got Back is such a huge record, but people don't know Sir Mix-a-Lot's albums are fire. Like, he is so underrated. Like, Sir Mix-a-Lot is fucking ridiculously dope. His music is fire. Go listen to the actual album. And Baby Got Back ain't even the best song. That's just the one that popped. Like, his shit is fire, bro. I fucks with Sir Mix-a-Lot.
I mean, back then, right? Like, all those guys, you got to give them their credit for being great, because back then there was no, like, in order to make it, you had to be the real genuine article, you know? Like,
I remember listening to Baby Got Back recently and thinking about how tight it was. Not just so like good. Pop, but
even
like
right now, it's a great song. It's a great song. It's a fantastic.
It's time. Yeah, no, it's dope. But like, so you're basically in high school in a culture that is surrounded by a lot of this stuff that's like happening, like in a more organic sense. So like in the way that like the New York guys tell me, yo, hip hop is happening all around me. I walk over.
Right.
So this is like a lot of that kind of people is kind of coming up. So when you're going out to like clubs and shows and shit, like these are the people touring around and coming to visit a lot more frequently than others. So like it's all part of your world. And I guess an hour and a half is pretty close.
So. I mean, it is close. I mean, Stockton had a lot of big influence from like the Bay Area and the Sacramento type of music. So, you know, when we were in high school and middle school, you know, we're getting a lot of Sacramento influence. We're listening to a lot of like Brother Lynch and SIBO and X-Rated and shit like that. And then, you know, we listened to the Bay. Like, I think when CDs first came out, like the first first like 3 CDs I bought when CDs were a thing was like Too Short Cocktails, E40 Federal, and DJ Quick is the Name. Those were like the first 3 like CDs that I ever owned of any kind.
Yeah, that's amazing.
No, we got influence from all over. And then I think once I started getting into high school, that's when like Wu-Tang was starting to really pop off. But you got to think too, like when I was in like middle school, before high school, you know, this is when people are getting into gangs. This is when, you know, all the NWA stuff and West Side Connection and all that shit is really popping off at the time. So it was a real hardcore time. We were listening to a lot of West Coast shit at the time. That also along with the Bay Area and Sac shit that like maybe LA probably wasn't listening to. They were just on their gangster hype. They probably weren't listening to as much E40 and fucking SIBO and shit like that we were, because we were in Stockton and we kind of got a good base of like all of it. But you know, it was a crazy time. So during that time, by the time I got to high school, that's when like, you know, a lot of Wu-Tang shit was popping off. We were wearing our pant legs up with fucking goggles and shit and army fucking pants and shit like that.
Talking about like 93, 94. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or even, you know, on the West Coast, maybe even a couple years later. In high school, it was big, man. It started getting that. And then I started, you know, listening to more East Coast stuff too. And like, but even before that, though, I was slapping Biggie and LL Cool J and Run DMC like as a kid, though. But when we like started really diving into the East Coast stuff heavy was like, you know, when the Wu-Tang stuff started popping off. And like, I think when I got my first like Wake Up Show freestyle CD, I think that kind of like opened a big gate to more like underground type stuff too. So this is where
you know what? I'm sorry. I haven't wanted to like interrupt you. You know what I mean? But like the whole time, he's like, thank you. But the whole time, I'm thinking there's a lot of things at points that I could stop you and be like, I think you could expound, because you got to understand Holden, you know, like it might not, it's not battle rap, right? So it's not like he is completely inexperienced, but I do think that like for him, like the nuance of like the West Coast hip hop scene.
I'm glad you stopped me, because I'm following the nuance so good. I miss that we're not doing it, because I'm actually following this like you're following it. And so that's a good point, because other people might not. So I'm like, yo, because it's the West Coast. Who does, like, to me, the West Coast and New York are the same shit in my like perception of glorification, right?
Right.
Glorification, yeah, no, absolutely.
So yo, G-Funk is what it is. And yo, all of it, then you start doing album reviews and you end up with RBL posses and fucking all of that shits. And you're like, yo, that's a vibe. And then you start going into it. And like even the brother Lin Chung, he cut me a little clip of us where my girlfriend's talking and put it in some compilations. Like, yo, shit's cool.
Dude, I ended up on a Brother Lynch album. What the fuck?
Wow, that's fucking blessed.
Albums, bro. Like, if I could have told me from high school that I was eventually going to be on Brother Lynch's album, I wouldn't even believe myself.
No, of course not. That's definitely one of those like
yeah. So
crazy.
That's what you rap for.
Crazy. That was a big one.
Want to sing back?
Huh? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just the random music that we came up on is just the area that we were in at the time. You know, it wasn't like the internet crazy like that. We couldn't like see what's super popping everywhere on earth. You know what I mean? It's like we got this
where did you get
over
it
here, you know?
So like, so check it. Like in Montreal, it turns out there was a couple of radio stations that would be the plug with that main hip hop show. That would be like, this is where we got it from. And then there was Stretch and Bobbito and some other options in New York City that kind of served that role as well. So where is like the Okwerdz and his peeps getting this stuff? Is it like live events or is it like something else?
I mean, a lot of stuff word of mouth, people listening to stuff, your friends. I mean, all my friends were always, you know, big into music, and we always just create ideas. Like when I was really, really young, I wasn't going to like shows like that. I'm talking before I'm like, 14 years old and stuff. You know, I wasn't really heavily. I went to the Up and Smoke tour when it came to Sacramento, but I didn't go to a lot of shows when I was a little kid. So it was more so like after I got older, you know. But I mean, the radio.
Hang on. Definitely, somebody's got to get
Elba.
There. It's like
So excited that I went out with him. You know what I mean?
Is there anybody around?
You know.
Is there somebody that could like pop in and mute them, because I do not have muting powers? So. Yeah, so I was trying to like block it out because it wasn't whatever, but I'm like,
good at something else.
Also, now I'm trying to like talk over it so that issues with the sound.
And that has to be something amazing, because if you suck that way.
Hey, Elba, are you there?
Yeah.
Elba, can you hear us?
I don't think they can.
Chris, make sure you cut this. Basically, somebody came on the Zoom and is unfortunately not. There it is. Phew.
There we go.
And so, to clarify for those that are there, somebody came on and their conversation was happening, and thank you, Il. Appreciate it big time. And that was a vibe.
Yeah, good look.
Definitely a vibe. That was the first. That was for me at least.
Yeah. Facts. That was the first for both of us. All right. Sorry.
Yeah. So basically, let's say anything after the question of like, how did y'all actually get the music? I got distracted on.
How we got music? I mean, it was just a lot of time was word of mouth. What your homies listening to? What's popping on the radio? So what whose music video did you see? I mean, we, just a regular mainstream type radio. We have a station called K-Win that's it covers a much larger area than Stockton, many different cities, but it is actually in Stockton, the station. It's funny, I ended up working there several years later, having my own show, which is crazy.
Okay.
It's like full circle. Everyone in Stockton grew up listening to K-Win at some point, and so I would end up I ended up working there, and we have a show that I haven't been there in over a year because of the pandemic and the whole. I mean, it's like a big corporate building with offices and shit. So it's like it's really closed down and limited during the whole pandemic. So I haven't been there at all, but hoping to get back there. But that was a radio station. I'm not going to say that they broke hella new artists or whatever, but the shit that was popping, it was a radio station. You know what I mean? It's like your regular mainstream radio station. You know, whatever you guys have over there.
That y'all have.
You know what?
It's interesting.
You know what though?
But most shit was word of mouth, bro. Your homie was like, "Yo, did you really do West Side Connection?" Or "Ooh, this person dissed this person." And like that's where it was. We didn't have the internet like that. You know what I mean? It was just a lot. That's why a lot of people I think was regional at the time too, because if you wasn't on TV, but you were just popping in your area, it wasn't a big way to spread it like that. You know what I'm saying? You get what area you're in. That's the shit you see in for the most part. Now with the internet, you could just absorb everything, but it wasn't always necessarily like that.
Yeah, but even with like the radio versions that we like, why I brought it up, because like there's a lot of people that would be like the only way to get heard in Montreal wasn't word of mouth, because there was no knowledge that this existed in the first place. So right. Like, if the radio broke you. And for us, that like really took place in the 2000s. And then you look at that as part of the story for like New York, right? The radio had a huge role there, is what I understand. I'm not saying I know definitively.
And so, you know, New York had a lot of great, like, not just like they had the mainstream shows, but they also had like the underground joints that you could freestyle on, and mixtape shows and shit like that. That was all very special stuff. Like in Stockton, we didn't have nothing like that. Can't.
Yeah, no, I mean, but you know what though? Here. Like even then, having all that, right? You can still get caught up. Like, look, I knew PH and Jean Grey and Sarah Connor, right? From like when, like we're talking about like 99, 2000. You know what I mean? Like is when she introduced me to like them, and back then I'm aware of an underground scene, right? Which your average hip hop fan, unless they cared enough to really do because there is a lot of shit back then that goes into getting into that scene. Like it's not like easy, like, oh, I can just get into it, right? So like even then, like I get introduced to it, I'm in it and I'm aware that it exists. By the time grind time rolls around in 2008, 9 or whatever, you know, like I'm offended at the thought that there's battle rappers in Idaho and like California. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you mean there's an underground scene there? What?
That's hilarious.
Their whole state doesn't consist of the only rap act that comes out of it. I'm surprised by this. What do you mean? I thought that all of Oakland just had MC Hammer and that was it, sir. Like, Too Short and MC Hammer were the only rappers in the whole area, of course. Who else would be rapping there, right? I would think that the only other guys that are rapping there are all getting record deals because you're in this place that I don't know. So like,
it's crazy. There's motherfuckers in the Bay that sell the win gold and no one heard of them.
On the point that you know what, guys, even you can be in this place that created this culture. Right. You can be around like knowledgeable people also, it's like, and you can still not be aware of everything that's happening. You know what I mean?
Just to like add to it, but you like doubled and tripled down on that word of mouth thing. Like that's how y'all found out. Like that means you're live seeing and whatnot. Because like Lush made it sound like
at that point I was a kid. I'm talking about when I'm a kid. I'm talking about before I even started rapping. This is
what I'm saying but we're talking about high school, and I have a lot of high school comparisons to go against. I'm not like gauging it against like young. Right. So like like people were like downloading Stretch and Bobbito tapes to get local rap, you know, like the hottest stuff that was happening there. And so that is different than say like how do you get your local stuff that's happening? Because your thing is like you're from an area where these ecosystems are so uniquely interesting that don't exist almost anywhere else, because you are having this word of mouth experience where people's bumping it, and I'm like, yo, how do I create that in my city? That's so interesting.
Well, I think that time, place. It's just a different time now. I don't think we'll ever see that ever again in that way. But and I was getting to, like when I was in high school, the first time I got, I think a Sway and Tech, Wake Up Show freestyle CD, that kind of opened me up to this whole world of like underground shit that I didn't even know about. You know what I mean? Like if you were in Stockton and found your most fucking knowledgeable hip hop guy in high school and was like, tell me about some underground shit, they would just be like, you know, living legends and hieroglyphics. You know what I mean? Because that's the nearby area underground shit. You know what I mean? But when you get a Wake Up Show CD, you're hearing the living legends and hieroglyphics of fucking everywhere damn near. You know what I'm saying? And that's when it really sinks in. I think that's where I kind of got in tune to, I guess I would call it organized battle rap. Because, you know, sometime I guess when I was maybe 16 or 17 is when I started actually rapping. And one of my first experiences with like rapping publicly would be, you know, battling people at like school or in the street or whatever, you know, what have you. But I think the Wake Up Show CDs was like one of the first times that, and like the fuck was it? I want to say it was the Blaze battle that was on BET when like the RZA and them was battling, like that.
HBO. That was on HBO. I've been
not even the HBO one, not even the HBO one. The one before that where they showed clips of it on BET, like the RZA was battling. Like the RZA did a rap battle.
RZA Capadonna were in that one.
That one. Yeah. I think that and like the Juice and Supernatural stuff on the Wake Up Show, like those kind of things really got me interested in like, huh, you could do this on a stage. That's interesting. And that's when I kind of like started pursuing like battle rap stuff on the internet and where I could find a rap battle to maybe compete myself in. And that's kind of how we found out about battling. But really, honestly, as far as underground shit is concerned, I would really give a lot of credit to those Sway and Tech CDs. To be honest, I learned about a lot of people like your Chino XLs and you know Planet Asia's and everybody, just all these different fucking underground rappers that I never would have known that weren't on TV or the radio or the popping, you know, like Tupac or Snoop or you know Wu-Tang or something like that. You know, that was a good place for me to find a lot of random shit.
So we just got a question related to that because one of the comments Ismail is like he's excited at the Wake Up Show and he wants to know who your favorite artists are that you discovered because of it.
Wow. Like, you know, it's funny, man. I may not be the hugest fan of him now, but honestly, Eminem used to rip shop on the Wake Up Show, man. That was like when he was doing I always liked Eminem better when he was doing like the mixtape freestyle shit. I thought that's where he really excelled, in my opinion, over everything else. And I like that.
You talking about like that murder my mom state when he flipped
that kind of shit. Yeah, that kind of like when he would freestyle like over the firm beat and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But I don't know. My favorite artist, god damn, my favorite artist from the Wake Up Show. That's a really hard one, man. There's so many. Honestly, I got a real special place in my heart for Juice. He's one of my all-time favorites. I think hearing Juice on the Wake Up Show for the first time was a very special thing for me as a guy who wanted to like be good at freestyling. I think that was a very special moment for me. I think Crooked Eye, the first time I heard Crooked Eye was on the Wake Up Show. There's so many, I mean, Tech Nine, there's just a lot of people that I heard for the first time on the Wake Up Show. A lot of people.
That's special. I already know. I can empathize with the energy, right? Because like in New York City, we had like Flex and like people would go up there and freestyle, and it was like that's some New York City exclusive shit. It's different than the like CD stuff that everybody else hears everywhere else. When I got on YouTube, there was like a bunch of stuff that I was like, yo, why do I have this but nobody else? It's not online. Like that, like it was Biggie freestyling Unbelievable before Unbelievable and Ready to Die came out, and he was doing it over
how could you not
I forgot what beat that was, but like it's just this type of shit that is just like yo, when you hear and you connect with an artist like that, it's just like yo, bro, this is another level special. I'm discovering them, and
Juice was very special, and he's still special to me to this day. But like hearing Juice on the Wake Up Show for the first time was very, very special, very special experience for me. And I mean, Supernatural as well. Literally, Supernatural Juice is one of the first battles that ever made me want to battle on an actual stage. You know what I mean? Or Supernat versus Craig G, stuff like that. Those things got me very excited.
Is this the same Juice who won against Eminem in a rap battle?
Same guy. He's probably, I mean, to this day, 2021, probably in the top 5 best freestylers on the planet that I've ever heard. Even to this day, he'll still smoke you off the top of that. It's really a different level. And you got to think too, he got in some kind of car accident where he lost some kind of memory ability to like rap or something. He had to learn how to freestyle all over again. And he's fucking like even better. I was
unaware of that.
And he's like even better now. It's like ridiculous.
That's
but
crazy.
Right now, Juice right now is, you guys don't even know what Juice is doing now, man. He's behind the scenes writing big hit records that are going gold and platinum for very big artists right now on the radio. Like Juice is crushing the game right now behind the scenes. Like real talk. He's got plaques right now.
Word.
I love talking to you.
Juice got plaques right now.
Knowledge, bro.
If I'm not mistaken, basically you were way more attracted to battle rap off the jump than say trying to make songs, unless I misunderstood that.
Yeah, I guess in terms of my own artist journey, like I guess I was definitely freestyling before I was writing, and it was definitely, once you're young and shit like that, someone's like, "Oh, you rap? Oh, I rap too. Oh, we should fucking battle." You know what I mean? That's just kind of your first experiences of rapping in public. For me personally, I don't know how it was for everybody, but rapping in public, I knew like if I got a crowd around me, I can clown this guy, everyone's gonna love it instantly.
Yeah.
Easy. Instant gratification. I was already clowning on people in school anyway without the rhyming part. So I knew it wasn't much of a problem.
So that is interesting to me, because one of the things I learned is that that's how a lot of people came up, and that is definitely not my life at all. I'm more of the poetry turn, the other version of it.
Right.
So then I hear about this and I'm like, that makes sense now that you were more interested. It's not even like it was a choice to you. It's just that's what it was around you.
Well, the thing is, I think when I started rapping, I think when I made the choice that I actually want to start rapping, obviously music was a goal. We're going to make music, of course. Like, why would you rap if you're not going to make music, But I think battle rap was a more instant thing that was just right there and easy access. I didn't necessarily have it worked out how I could get into a studio yet when I'm fucking 17, 16 years old and things of that nature. But I know there's some people battling over there. I could go fucking this fool and fucking crush him, So, I mean, but it was always the goal. I can't say that I wanted to battle more than I wanted to make music necessarily, but it's easy and it's right there.
It just ended up being the way that it was.
No, yeah, but that's why it's interesting. That's why I don't like asking questions like, why did you start rapping? Because this is way more interesting. This is, the facts is you saw that the best way to achieve your bigger goals was to leverage the immediate opportunities in front of you. Mm-hmm. And that led to you getting into battling, and it fit into what you were already comfortable with. You were good to it. You recognized your skills because we learned earlier that you're able to do that. You couldn't identify, you couldn't draw, so you were just like, but I can do this. Facts. So it's like,
can't draw
in
a
sense, you're dropping like CEO shit at like 16 in terms of prioritization and like decision making. So that's pretty fucking cool.
Well, I didn't really think of it like that, but but it sounds pretty cool.
I mean, that's what I heard. It's just what it is. But like it's smart though, because like a lot of people don't actually take advantage of the opportunities, such as like getting into it. Some people might have been on some ego shit, fucked up. I'm gonna go.
Well, battling isn't for everybody.
Yeah, some people aren't built.
Some people just
not really. For it. I've met in New York City. I've met a lot of great MCs that they are talented artists, but battling is just not in one of their tools, and not in their wheelhouse, and it's just not a thing that they can really do like that. And that doesn't necessarily take away from how great they are at everything else that they do with rapping.
You don't necessarily have to have great bars to make great music. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That rap is the only genre that holds that shit so sacred. You don't hear anybody out here being like, man, Garth Brooks is wacky and got no bars.
Yeah,
nobody says that. Nobody. They all rhyme cat in the hat. And that's it. No one cares. It doesn't matter. No one's shitting on Beyonce, saying, Beyonce, great singing voice. We love the message. We love the beat. You got no bars, Beyonce. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is the only place where it matters.
I love that you said that a lot, though. That was a great sentence. I enjoyed that. So let's go back to like just how you got. So you're like 16, 17, and you're doing more of a schoolyard version, and you decided to Google. I don't know if Google was around then. You decided to internet pre-Google. Like
sort of. It was there, I guess, but I think people were using other ones more before
so
Google really
Yahoo
popped off like
or
that.
Whatever the early search.
But I
or
think it was there.
However, people interneted prior to Google, I really don't remember / know that much. So let's say we go with that. You look into what's available. That's the part where you got more interesting with it than other people, is how do I get involved with it? So it's not just the part that it existed and you identified you could do it. And then you say, how do I get more involved with it? That's actually really cool. So what happened after you decided to internet?
Well, we don't have there's no like organized rap battles in Stockton whatsoever. So like I think the Juice of Super Nat thing and that Blaze battle shit before the HBO Blaze battle and like the Super Nat stuff with Craig G, that really got me interested in seeing like footage of organized stuff, because I never seen like a rap battle on a stage before. It was just like we here and we battling, in your face, no rules, not even necessarily even a beat all the time. But I went on the internet just looking for rap battle footage, and we came across the mcbattles.com website, which was this website my man Tone Deaf and my other homeboy Alexis had put together, where it was literally, I would say, maybe the first place on the internet where you could find battle rap footage. And it was basically just a back catalog of all of Tone Deaf's old footage from all the ill New York shit that he was at, all the events that he was at. And that's how they started it. But once it started growing, everybody sent their footage in from everywhere. And then it started like piling up. But it became a place just where you could watch battle footage. Now, it's not granted anything like it is today, where it's beautiful presentation. It looks like a movie. This was like, we're talking 56K modems. And you can like, it would be to the point where you've watched a battle rapper like 5 times and you met him in person and you don't even really knew that he looked like that because of the pixelated video. You're like, oh, pixelated, shit. Yeah. That's what Okwerdz looks like. Oh, shit. Okay.
I just finished finding some old BlackBerry video footage on my like hard drive, and I was just like, what the fuck? I can barely make out any of the faces.
Yeah, you gotta like get like this to hear the fucked up audio over the crowd. Yeah. What did he say? What did he say? But I think going there, they also had a little message board attached, and they would post info for any time there was like a battle rap event somewhere. And I think in like 2000 or 2001, there was this big battle rap event going down in San Francisco, an hour and a half away from me, hour and 20 minutes away from me. It's called Mic Check. And the winner gets like flown to Chicago to face the winner of this other battle in Chicago. And we go there, and dude, this is my first time like really battling on stage and being around what was at that time the current like Bay Area like battle rap scene. You know what I mean? That had been going before me, because I'm one of the oldest motherfucking NorCal battle rappers of all time. I'm one of the fucking first ones ever. But like, there was a scene before me that was doing it. And when I got there, that's when I met people like Swarm Shogun, which is Fredo's right-hand man, who's in a crew with him. I want to say Fredo was battling back then too. Fools like Topper, when he went by Top Ramen, he was an OG back then too. He was before me. And I went on stage. It was a really great looking event. It looked beautiful, man. I went on stage, first time holding a cordless mic ever, and like I was trash. You know what I mean? I was straight trash.
You didn't know how to hold the mic. That's all.
No, I mean, I knew how to hold the mic. I was just trash. Like I never had a problem projecting because I'm just loud, but I was just trash. That was my problem. The problem was I was trash. And I lost to a guy because he was slightly less trash than me. He was also very trash, mind you. I lost in the first round, straight out the gate. Lost in the first round. It was terrible. It was fucking awful, man. I had a few lines about his clothes and stuff like that, but like I kept coming back to like this crutch of like every time I would freestyle, I would say like the same like fucking filler line. It was terrible. And so there was another battle in Sacramento a few months later. I signed up for that shit. Same thing. First round, I lose. I'm trash. The dude I lost to is also fucking trash, super trash. And I'm like, man, this battle rap thing is really hard, you know? And then another battle happens. It's in Tracy, California. And mind you, funny, circling back to the MC Hammer talk. MC Hammer has lived in Tracy for 1,000,000 years. Anyway, there's a rap battle in Tracy, and I go there, and you guys, there's a battle rapper named Joe Cutter, and his name used to be KO Device back then. Apparently, he had won the previous tournament, and he was like champion or whatever. And I get to this battle in Tracy, and it's fucking packed house. It's huge. And I go in there, and I sign my name up. Nobody knows who I am at all. This is like super fresh Okwerdz. Nobody knows me. I didn't even have a beard. Fucking
Fresh face.
I go on stage, and they gave me Joe Cutter in the first round. I'm supposed to be like they don't know me. I'm the fucking sacrificial lamb for the reigning champion and just get a free first round. You know what I mean? Like, that's in their mind what's happening, right? So we go up, and I battle Joe Cutter, and for the first time in my life, it fucking works. I fucking destroyed this man in front of a crazy packed house. Like, every line just had the craziest reaction. Like, every single bar, it was so nuts. And from that point on, I just beat everybody after that.
Nice.
It just finally started working. After that moment, it just finally, something clicked. And from that moment, like, I mean, dude, I've been in the battle rap scene for over 20 years. I can honestly say that of all the different eras that I've battled in, I've maybe got my ass kicked like 2 or 3 times out of like hundreds of battles. There's like 2 or 3 times where I'm like, okay, you fucking beat me. But like everybody else, in my opinion, I like cooked damn near the whole fucking planet. So it's good.
I don't know that I'm qualified to really comment on your win-to-loss ratio, to be honest.
Nobody is. It's subjective. You know what I mean? It's battle rap. No one can really, you can say whatever you want. You know what I mean?
I really love.
I don't even have to admit that I lost anything at all, but I'm just a real guy.
No, I think, this is great shit, man. Just the fact that like you got back up and learned to do it great. But because luck and shit, luck is a fascinating concept, right? It's like opportunity and preparedness. And so the opportunity to go and have a moment where you had to go against the champ and prove yourself, maybe it gave you a little.
Yeah, it was funny. It was really funny because everyone was like, yo, who the fuck is this dorky kid? Like, you know what I mean? Joe Cutter's the champion. He just destroyed everybody last month. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know. He's just the first round dude. They put me against him on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole point. And I got him out of there.
Even though it was, and it adds like the third time was the charm. So that was also true in your story. I enjoyed that, like, because I like the number 3s a bunch.
Yeah, I started working from then on, man.
But as of that, you still were involved in like a whole bunch of stuff. I don't even know when those battles took place. When were these battles?
Oh, well, the one with Joe Cutter is probably maybe 2000, 2001 or something like that.
That's serious. So are you able to like go into a slower version of what happened next? Because like for me, it's like I literally have no idea. I know there's a lot of words. I think I saw you at a Scribble Jams. I kind of know what that is.
Yeah.
So like to me, it's like, I don't know. It's not inherent stuff to me. And I appreciate what you're
just
describing.
continue the
That's it. Let's do
how it was going. Well, I mean, okay, so the third battle worked, right? So after that, I started winning every rap battle in Northern California. So much to the point, which I'm not saying there was a lot of them, but I just was cooking. It worked. After that point on, everything was just working. And
what was the format?
It was all freestyle, over a beat, like 30-second rounds. You know, sometimes there's a third round, and not really all that much, but it's just go on beat, freestyle a little bit. But after I won some of the stuff in Northern California and stuff, that's when I started getting invited to like the real big tournaments. At the time, Rocksteady. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Dutch. Around that time, Rocksteady was the biggest rap battle in New York City. Is that fair to say?
I mean, yeah, probably.
In 2001 and 98 and 99. Like, I mean, it's fair to say this was the biggest rap battle in New York City. I was.
You know what? In 2001 wouldn't be a good like era for me to gauge because that was when I went down south. So like, I wouldn't have known what was popping.
Well, I knew as far as battle rap, Rocksteady and Scribble Jam. That's it. You wouldn't know.
But Rocksteady
those are the joints.
It's always been like a big thing in the city.
Right.
You know, like it's not to say like that Rocksteady's not like that's like a yearly guaranteed. You know, like if you could get on the Rocksteady stage, like you're certified, you're stamped.
Yeah,
like that's like a real, you know, like badge, like and cosign.
Most definitely, man. I think around that time, after I started winning, having some footage online and whatnot, I started, you know, getting invited to these bigger tournaments around the country, and we were talking to people at Rocksteady, and it was actually Immortal Technique who had put in a good word for me with the people at Rocksteady, and they accepted me to be in the prelims at the Rocksteady battle, and so I was like, oh shit, I'm in the real battle now. You know what I mean? This is like this is a big tournament. And I fly to New York for the first time, like fucking 18 years old or some shit. Flew to New York, just me and my homeboy. And we went there and I beat everybody at the prelims. And I was so excited. Breeze Everflowing was the judge. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh my God. You know what I mean? These are guys who I really looked up to. You know, I still look up to them today. They're still highly influential characters.
We had Breeze on the show.
Breeze is so. Let me just say, I don't know if I ever said it anywhere publicly. Breeze is just so incredibly important.
Yes,
especially to my experience coming up as a freestyle battle rapper. Especially in the earliest like formulation of my little battle rap style or whatever, like Breeze was very influential. His battle with PH was like something that was very special to me and still is very special to this day. But you know, I was excited. Breeze was the judge. You know, Breeze is judging me rap battle. This is crazy. And you know, I won the prelims. So that means I get to come back the next day for the final day where it's at the big fucking place with the balcony just full of fucking people. It was absolutely ridiculous, man. I did that battle and I ended up getting second place at Rocksteady. But everybody in the building thought I had first place and it was like a shittiest judgment ever. I feel like I got screwed. It was probably the worst judgment of any battle I've ever been in my life, I would have to say. But I went there and I felt good, man. I cooked. When we got on the big stage, I had the place going berserk. Like at that point in my life, 17, 18 years old, I'd never had a crowd that big. We did some big battles, but never one where there was like balcony full of people and all this. So we had the crowd going so nuts, man. And people were fucking slamming their fucking hands on the stage. Like it was nuts, dude. I remember one of the dudes in the finals was from New Zealand or some shit. And I had this bar, like I was just like, you just got served, motherfucker. Welcome to America. And everyone just went, wah! Back then, that type of shit, you could just say whatever, you know what I mean? And dude, that's it, dude. There was so many people. That was such a fun time, man. I never got to see any of the foot. Honestly, it's maybe some of my very best rap battles of all time in terms of the on beat freestyle era. And I never got to see the footage ever because
that's crazy.
Because of Crazy Legs fucking promised me. You promised me. Nah, man. That's a whole other. That's a whole other podcast. That's a whole other podcast. But then after that, I got accepted into Scribble Jam. So I did the Rocksteady thing. And Rocksteady, after I did that battle, that's when I met everybody in New York. That's when, you know, PH and everybody. I had been talking to PH before online, but this is when I met everybody for real. You know what I mean? And Penn and everybody like that. This is a long ass time ago. I know
Penn is here. Penn is here.
Yeah, Penn is everywhere.
Yeah.
But that's when I met everybody from that whole scene. Everybody that, because mind you too, as someone from the West Coast, if you were watching rap battles on the internet at that time, there wasn't no footage from the West Coast. You know what I mean? I'm watching all of Tone Deaf's back catalog. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in tune with more so the New York guys at that time than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Because there was just way more battles happening at the time. You got to understand, like, before the West Coast became this huge battle rap scene, you know, me and some other people had to do some work first. You know what I mean? So at the time, you know, me being cool with PH and Tone Deaf, like it was very cool to me. You know, so like these are the guys that I've been watching battle, other than, you know, your Juice and Supernatural and what have you. But then I went to Scribble Jam, and you know, everything changed after that. That's where I met everybody at Scribble Jam. I lost the first round of Scribble Jam every single year, except 1 year. The last Scribble Jam, the last miserable, fucking sad Scribble Jam, when everyone could tell it was dying. I finally made it past the first round. I feel like I won that shit just because I made it past the first round finally. But that's when I just started going to all the other battles, and then, you know, everything transitioned from the freestyle over beat stuff to the acapella YouTube stuff. And I happened to, I guess, be there at a perfect timing in the beginning stages, where I was able to make a big impact in a certain point of that whole development of that era. And it really kind of set me for life and kind of got me just unlimited doors open for me for life. Really is how we kind of reached this point, I guess.
Okay, so can you go into more about how Scribble Jam works?
Yeah, well, Scribble Jam at the time was probably, I would say, the most prestigious rap battle that you could win at the time in terms of the freestyle on beat type of rap battles. And it was a festival in Ohio that they had for several years, and big crowds, like 4,000 or 5,000 people there every year. Just huge festival, man. Concerts, graffiti walls, breakdancing battles, DJ battles, and just one of the most popular parts of it became the MC battle, naturally. And you know, getting invited to Scribble Jam was a big thing. I battled there, I think, maybe 3 or 4 times, and it's just a crazy event. You just meet everybody there, man. You could have fucked around and met Eminem there one year, you know. Fucking everybody was there. All the underground dudes. You'd be around Slug, LP, Aesop Rock, fucking any of those guys, Brother Ali, Mac Lethal,
so
Sage
cool.
Francis, you know, any of those type of guys.
And where were these events? Like yearly, like what?
Yeah, it was in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Every year?
Every year. But yeah, that was it was a big battle. But I think just over the years, I honestly don't know how it kind of fell off. I don't know how. But they kept pushing it back one year, and it was just, if you ever watch old Scribble Jam videos, everyone's always in like tank tops and shorts. If you ever watch an old Scribble Jam battle, but if you watch the very last Scribble Jam year, everyone's in jackets, and it's fucking cold because they pushed it back to like fucking November or some shit. And it was fucking weird, and it was just an eerie feeling. We know it's the last one. There's less people here. It's fucking cold. What the fuck is going on here? You know, that's what the last Scribble Jam was like.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it ended, but probably some kind of budget issue.
So
to my understanding,
like
I'm not sure.
festival?
Yeah, it was a festival. It was a great experience, man. It was one of the funnest. The first time I ever went to Scribble Jam was like a very monumental experience, man. It was a really fun time, and I was young. I wasn't even old enough to drink, and I was competing at Scribble Jam.
Because like I'm trying to like sometimes piece it together. I know what Scribble Jam is in theory, and I understand its significance to stuff, but like and then I see the videos of the ciphers and the peoples, and you get a sense of the vibe. But like, tell us about like actually being at Scribble Jam.
Okay,
like I think a lot of people would love to hear more about that.
Okay, well, I guess it seemed kind of like almost like a fucking like a Woodstocky kind of experience. I never been to Woodstock, but it would kind of remind, probably less mud, I would say, but and no tents. But you know, there was this hotel. You know, well, okay, let me rewind a little bit. If you go on the Scribble Jam website, they have lists of like suggested hotels, like where you know people would stay in that area and things of that nature, right? So when you get to Scribble Jam initially, before you even get to the actual event, all the hotels are popping off, first and foremost. So it's just party with a bunch of random ass people. Mind you, I'm not even 20 yet. I'm like 18, maybe. And we're meeting people from all over the world.
Right,
people from Germany. Yeah, people from, well, I mean, I mean, people from Germany, people from Canada, people from fucking Brooklyn, people people from Maine, you know what I mean? People from fucking Idaho, you know what I mean? Like, just you're meeting all these people, you walk up into your hotel room, there's people in the parking lot freestyling, and everyone's like, you here for Scribble Jam, bro? And like fucking, you know, everyone's having a good time. And then you meet all these people from people that I still, you know to this day that weren't even on some music shit, just people that were cool, you know, that were just nice people and had good vibes. But you get there and it's just like, you know, there's a concert. There's always someone really dope performing every year. You know, they've had Big Daddy Kane. They've had fucking, you know, Atmosphere. Well, it's MF Doom. Anybody you could think of down there. LP, fucking, all those type of guys, all the usual characters in that scene. But then they've had, I think, like De La Soul, and you know, they'll always have like one huge headliner. You know, but you know, there's concerts every night. There's like a meet and greet concert. All the rap battles are crazy. Just everybody partying, people selling their merch out in the crowds. Just thousands of people walking around, selling their merch, freestyling, fucking battling each other. You know, we be getting in fights with people out there. Like, it's just wild shit, man. You know, no can do threw a chair through someone's window. It gets serious.
Yo.
I jump kicked Franco on accident one time. I was
That's
trying to kick somebody else, but
the second time
Franco.
both those names are named on the show. I'm gonna try to figure out a way to get to No Can.
No Can, easy, man.
Like
he's
we
easy.
met
You
one time, and the one time that we met, like I was like, yo, this is the homie, bro. Like,
No Can's one of the
immediately, like, we got along fucking spectacularly. Like, I was like, yo,
man. No
this
Can's one of the best people in the world,
man.
man.
Heavy. I fuck with his vibes and his energy heavy.
He's one of the best people in the world, man.
Yeah, he's super cool. So
one of three people that's kicked my ass in the rap battle in my whole life.
Honestly, I know what a Franco is. On some, I investigated somebody else who was battling him at a Scribble Jam parking lot, and that was what I was picturing was Franco. And
Franco was in a lot of Thesaurus, dude. You know how many people I've seen Thesaurus just annihilate in Scribble Jam ciphers, never to be seen on camera, no camera, just lots of poor souls had to get fucking annihilated, man. It's, you know, it's kind of like a free for all.
If anything, it's like
it's just a melting pot of everybody bringing their shit together, everybody exchanging CD. You leave Scribble Jam with like 35 CDs minimum every year. You didn't buy any of them. You know what I mean? It's just everybody's got their shit. And then there's merch tables. Maybe you'll buy some shit. It was a crazy time, man. And
so
we thought
it's way more than just like the battles. It's
like
a giant
way more. But I think to like the people on the internet, the battle became the most popular thing. But the actual event is so much more, man. I mean, the DJ battles were fucking nuts, dude. Like, I saw some DJ battles that were pretty fucking intense, where dudes beat Scratch Bastard beat juggling the fucking Star Wars theme from a beat juggle. Like,
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Nah, the shit that you see in a DJ battle, and like even the B-boy battles, like those, like the shit that you see. You be like, what the fuck?
I gotta tell you guys, man, I tried every element of hip hop before I reached rapping. I said, there's no way I can fucking rap. Let me try all the other ones first. And I was so garbage at all the other ones.
That is amazing. Like,
I was like, there's no way I'm gonna rap. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna fucking rap. First of all, we'll put that on the very last. That's last resort. We'll try that one. Breakdancing don't work.
You know how that is hilarious I've been having this continual conversation in my personal life about children not understanding things properly, and like myself as like a child not understanding. The thing that I was talking about was like thinking like a dumb kid that like if I got close enough to the screen, I might be able to see like down the chicks think like because like when you're hitting that age, you know, and like, but just so dumb, right? So dumb to think like, well, not say you are dumb as well, because I was dumb, right?
I probably was,
but I was super extra dumb. I was extra younger, right? So I have that on my side as well, you know. But like to think that you're gonna fucking like DJing is so much harder. Like there's so much equipment that goes into that.
So
much
expensive.
Money, so much.
No
so
way.
expensive. And then even graffiti is like, yo, that becomes expensive with the cans. Like
but then that goes back to the umbrella of I can't draw.
And you can't draw.
Back. You know, I can't draw. I can't draw. You know what I mean? But DJing is by far the most difficult one of the four, by far, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And honestly, and even on the low, mind you guys, on the low, I am going to buy a turntable. We're dropping some vinyl this year, so I'm going to buy a turntable. And I'm going to be practicing on the low. I'm not even going to lie. I've always been fascinated. I've always been very fascinated with scratching and turntablism. So we're going to be practicing a little bit. I'd like to someday at a live performance be able to be like, hey, scoot over to the DJ for 1 second. Like, let me show you guys something. You know, I would like to incorporate that in my set in some way, but I got to learn it first. But that was the first one I tried, man. That was the first one I tried, but it's horrible. I couldn't afford turntables. I had to just do it at my friend's house. That's complicated. And it's hard. It's very hard.
So I got another question then. We talked a bit about, hey, thank you for the Scribble Jam context. Because again, it's hard to like contextualize it. That's the truth of it.
Right.
So you explaining it, okay, it adds flavor. And then
I got kicked out of Scribble Jam one time, man. I had to sneak back in.
What did you do?
Because I wasn't old enough to drink. Someone at the bar bought me a drink. I was drinking that drink, and security rolled up on me ever so smoothly, because clearly if you're drinking, you have this bright wristband. So if I'm drinking and I don't have it, clearly something's up.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm a fucking kid. I'm in Ohio for the first. I don't care. But I'm drinking, and you know, security runs up to me and he said, "Hey, let me see your ID." And me knowing I'm damn well not 21, I just immediately, as soon as he said, "Let me see your ID," I just drank all of the alcohol. I drank all of it. And I said, "Sir, I'm not 21." I said, "I'm not 21." And he said, "You have to leave." I'm like, I'm entered in the battle and shit. You know what I mean? And I get outside, and some people recognize me from Battle Rap or whatever in the parking lot. And they had just bought some t-shirt at some fucking like somebody's merch table or something. They gave me a t-shirt. I hopped the fence and went back in with a different shirt on.
Okwerdz, you're amazing.
Legend
Big
stuff
facts.
right there.
That's
the stuff legends
do
are made
things
of.
like that.
I think I was 19. I think I might have been 19.
Yeah, no, that's why, you know.
Yeah, I was just in school at 19, not doing exciting things like that. I worked at a video store, like, just for context.
Hey, that's fire though. A video store, that's fire though. I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah.
I tried to work at a video store one time, man. They tried to make me the manager of a Blockbuster once upon a time, like fucking 20 years ago or some shit. And
shouts to Blockbuster, yo.
I got a different. They offered me a different job somewhere else, so I had to go somewhere else. But once upon a time, I could have worked at a video store.
Yeah, it was pretty
late. Blockbuster. I just finished watching that documentary.
Me too. I was interested in that.
That
was my whole era. That was my whole era, dude.
Yeah.
I was working at the competitor in Montreal while that went down and they were dying. It was so fascinating. I mean, it's not
that's
crazy,
crazy,
but it's fascinating
crazy,
to me.
And Netflix is a cold piece, man. How you kill somebody and make a documentary on how you did it.
Yeah, no, that was fire. That was dumb fire.
That's crazy.
Big
flex. That's a big flex right there. Big flex.
Me and the wife was talking about that when we were watching it. Like, yo,
oh, that's cold.
They really did that. Like,
that's a big flex.
Yeah, man. So Blockbuster did a lot of dirty things, regardless of Netflix. Anyway, they were not a good people's. But I'll have to say, I had another question just to like run it back a bit, because you also have music out. I know that because somebody talked about a kung fu mixtape that you or something that you made in one of your battles. So evidently, at some point in time, you started making music, and you decided to rap. And I was wondering when that was. When did you make your first song? When did the first Okwerdz song happen?
Well, you know, I'd kind of been recording almost the whole time. I'd say by maybe by the end of junior year or something, I had figured out how to like record a little bit, I guess. no, by no means the standard of what we record now, but a little shitty mic, a little Radio Shack mic, and I could at least rap or whatever. Yeah, by the end of high school or something, probably I was recording, dabbling a little bit. I think for one of my projects in school, I had fucking recorded a rap or something like that, and all the teachers loved it. But I think, yeah, probably the first songs maybe like 99 or 2000 or something like that I probably ever recorded. But in reference to the martial arts little project, I was just a big Jackie Chan nerd when I was a kid, and I always liked the music that was in the movie.
Love Jackie Chan.
He's
I know
the
that
best.
about.
He's the greatest. But that's a whole other podcast. But I always loved the music in his movies, so I just did a quick little EP where my boy Seth sampled a bunch of Jackie Chan movies. It was like we did in like 2007, and we had it out for free because it was all clearly sampled. We couldn't sell it, but it kind of lightweight went viral on some weird like martial arts shit, and we had got like 50,000 downloads, which in 2007 was pretty fire. That was before
early internet.
Yeah, it was before Grind Time and things of that nature were really popping off for me like that. So, but
Were you on MySpace?
Fuck you, of course. I was on Friendster, baby.
Yeah, I know what that is.
What y'all know about Friendster?
I remember that. It was green, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. But I was making music the whole time. I've been working with, I think in 2004, I did a song with Tech Nine. That was like the first like really big collaboration I did. We've worked with.
I guess because you met these people via your networking.
Well, I know a lot of people in Kansas City. I've been in and out of there doing shows for many years, and we had a lot of mutual friends, and I was able to contact him that way, and just set something up. And when he came to the Bay Area at one point, we just linked up and got it done. And that was probably like the first like real big collaboration I did, I would say. And since then, I mean, we worked with Method Man, we worked with Slug, Mr. Fab, E40, the Federation, like tons of big names.
Holden was just telling me about him discovering your Slug feature.
Right.
And being super excited. He's a big
Atmosphere is lit.
Hey, Slug is amazing, man. Slug could really rap, dude. A lot of people tried to emulate his style and took off with it. But Slug could really rap, and if you know him as a person, like he's a real solid dude, like for real. He's a good guy. He's always been extremely good to me. Always doing my podcast, send me a verse if I need it. You know what I mean? When he we did a show, I'm not gonna say we did a show. He had a sold out show in Sacramento, and I came out just a kid. I was like, "Oh, you're in town. I'm gonna come watch the show." I came out to the show, and this motherfucker calls me on stage to freestyle with him out of nowhere. I was like, "Excuse me?" The crowd's packed, and we killed it. It was really,
I seen you posting about that. It just the way that you posted about it, random, I felt like I was there.
Hey, it was crazy, man. I did not expect it at all.
That's dope.
That's so cool.
Got to stay ready. That's the thing about rapping. You got to stay ready, man. Always got to stay ready.
That is a big knowledge nugget. Because then what if I'm like, because then you got to picture the other version, like you're a victim of your unsuccess, but you're unprepared. So you come through, and then you're at the show, and Slug calls you up, and you haven't practiced your freestyling, and then boom, you're not sharp, and it's not lit.
But freestyling, it saves your ass, bro. It could save you on so many multiple occasions, especially over a beat with a big crowd. You say one line, everyone goes crazy. Like you could say gibberish for like 10 seconds. No one will even notice. You know what I mean? Until the crowd simmers down, then you hit them again, and they gonna go, and then you just whatever the fuck, and then whoo,
That is amazing.
A lot of the reason that we have relationships with people like that is because we put the grind in so long, like at Scribble Jam. Like that's where I met Slug. You know what I mean? I met Slug because I knew Mac Lethal, and the first time I seen Mac Lethal in person, he happened to be standing next to Slug, and he was like, "Yo, Slug, this is awkward. He's a good battle rapper." And then now I know, now we know Slug, and it's just kind of in passing, you just met so many people, man. Even in passing, I met so many people. We met like Macklemore in passing before he blew up. You know what I mean? Like he was doing songs.
A lot of the homies say that like they knew Macklemore from back in the day.
He was doing songs with Illmac and all of them. They've got tons of songs with Macklemore. Like he was really. You may have even ran into him in passing and didn't know it, bro. Like he's been around.
It's a possibility.
He's been around. Like so, just in passing, you run into so many different people, man.
When I used to throw the draft league events, Sarah would tell me about so many people that like were there, and I'd be like, "What? They were there?" Yeah. Like, I'm always so focused on the task of getting the event to go down the right way that I'm like, everybody else is a blur. Like everything else is a blur. Like the most important thing is making sure everything goes down in a timely manner and that the footage.
Oh yeah, you're the stressed guy. You're the stressed guy of the evening.
Yeah. Facts.
It counts. I'm also the stress guy.
So yeah, music. I mean, music is a whole different mission. You know, there was a lot of years I didn't even battle, and I was touring and doing shows overseas and things of that nature. You know, music has took me a lot of random places, just as battle rap has. But I think battle rap overall, obviously, is like the thing that shined the biggest light on me to like get opportunities to do things like that. Or to write for a TV show, or to work at a radio station, or to do this or that, or all the other random weird shit that I do.
I know. I would love to hear more about those too, for real though.
We could go.
I know. We're at Scribble Jam in the timeline. In my head, that's where the pin is at. So that's what I'm saying.
Fair.
I mean, I think that we're, Holden, like, I think that we're far enough into it, right? Where like we can deviate, because I'm dying to really talk to Okwerdz about this. Method Man, and
anytime you want, anytime that you want to interrupt and go on a tangent, we can. I'm keeping track of the main story.
Because it's the relationship with Meth, I know, and it's blessed, but like, the fact that you and like Blimey, like the way that y'all got to go on, what's the name of the show again?
On Drop the Mic.
Drop the Mic. And like get a check from doing what you like know and love, right? Crazy. Like that's amazing. So like tell people like how this thing in your life came about, like period. Like how was it?
I guess it's how I met Meth, I guess at this point. I think one day I was on Twitter and I didn't even know Method Man had Twitter. And I saw Method Man, I think, was like communicating with Disaster on Twitter. And I was like, oh shit. First of all, I'm like, oh shit, Method Man has Twitter. And then I'm like, oh shit, Method Man knows who Disaster is. Holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, that's crazy, So I follow Method Man immediately. I'm like, yes, this is good. And next thing I know, a couple minutes later, I get a notification. Meth has followed me back. And now we start tweeting each other. I was like, wait, you know who I am too? What the fuck? You know what I mean? And that kind of just like blew me the fuck away, because it's funny as battle rap gets more popular and, is on when YouTube really took off and these guys are really getting big and celebrities start coming into the picture. Certain celebrities pick their favorite guys that they fuck with. You know what I mean? Like you got your Nick Cannon, fucks with Khan, and Hitman Holla. I'm sure he's probably seen me before, but he's probably just not a big fan, or I'm not his favorite one that he wants on my fucking show, right? Some people Drake likes them. Some people, Lupe Fiasco likes somebody, or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? I just never would have thought out of all the celebrities that could have possibly reached out and fucked with me that it would end up being Method Man. I'm so just like blown away. It could have been Lupe Fiasco. Oh my God, no.
Yeah. but you know what? I'm glad that you said that, because something that I've said on here before, and that I say period, right? When I liken battle rap to things, right? Like I liken it to MMA, and more so than anything, because I'm like in the UFC context, right? Because like I always look at it like, you can't get out of or it used to be true that you can't get out of a career in the UFC without losing, and you can't get out of battle rap without losing. And it's a one-on-one type of thing where it's not a team sport and nobody can save your ass when you're in there in the middle of that, you know what I mean, circle. So like, and battle rap, like another thing is like seeing it become what it's become. Like it's become very sports like. That's why I liken it to that, because you see Kevin Durant being a fan of DNA. It's like every famous person picks their battle
rap. Everyone's seen a rap battle.
Like it's like we're fucking Pokemon cards and shit.
Right.
Nah, this is my Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like I play with such and such, that's my guy. That's who I hedge my bets on,
Right.
And now we see Topanga is like a Chilla Jones fan,
Yeah, like, Topanga's cool as shit, man. I met her one time as well.
Shit.
But I get it's just an interesting situation, man. I think from there, we tweeted a couple times. And then there was like a rap battle in LA. We had talked about vaguely like next time you're in Cali, what I mean? Maybe we'll meet up or sometime or something, you know what I mean? And turns out he had a show, pretty big show with Redman and some other people in LA at the same time that a rap battle was going on in LA, a King of the Dot battle. It was, I think, I want to say like fucking Thesaurus versus Big K or something like that, like that, or Chiller versus Daylight or something like that, like one of those, like, or it could have been Daylight and Clips, one of those times in LA right there. I mean, fucking Meth is clearly in the audience of the battle, so you guys can figure it out later at home. But that event was the first time I met Meth for the first time, and it was crazy, crowded battle rap event. I'm thinking, you're a celebrity, you probably got some people with you, got something. Meth just pulled up literally solo, walked through the battle rap crowd like a fucking knife through butter, just, you know what I mean?
It helps him. He's like tall as shit.
He's huge,
I mean?
man.
Like,
and that's another thing, man.
It's not
most
no
famous
dude,
people.
Most, I mean? Like, it's not like he's gonna struggle to get to that crowd.
Most famous people is little, bro.
People, you know what I mean? And his energy is just gonna cause everybody to already be turned around and moving out his way. Like it's Meth. Like,
for real. Most famous people is mad small. So when you meet a famous person that's actually big, you're like, holy shit, finally, there's actually, so this person's actually a really big person. But I actually met Meth in person there, and he had a concert that night. Like I was saying, he invited me and my whole squad that I had with me, like 5 people I had with me, to this fucking concert that they had in LA. And that whole night was just a crazy story in itself. But we ended up linking up with them, and from that point on, pretty much anytime he came to California, we were kicking it. You know what I mean? I went to a rave with him and Redman on fucking Halloween one year, and it was probably the most ridiculous Halloween of my life. And
that sounds like some like
Meth is just like the most realest human, that like it just gives you hope, man. Because sometimes you meet people that you're fond of, and they're not such cool people. They're not so nice in real life. And when you meet someone like Method Man, honestly really gives you hope that, like, damn, there are some elite people out there that are actually real genuine. You know what I mean? And Method Man is one of those people, man. Make sure just everyone's taken care of. He's just the coolest motherfucker ever. So anyway, fast forward. I'm leaving the gym one day. I'm in my car shaking my fucking protein drink, and my fucking phone rings, and it's essentially speaking to Panga's husband, calling my,
who is, by the way, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch
guy. Exactly.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch guy.
He's got the craziest life. He's got the craziest life. That's a whole other podcast. But he calls me, Jensen Karp calls me, and he says, we're doing a battle rap TV show that Method Man is hosting with Justin Bieber's wife, Haley Baldwin. And Method Man specifically asked for you to come on the show to like help write and teach celebrities how to battle rap. And I was like, wow, of course I'll do it. You know, I guess my name got said in the office before Meth was in the picture, because there was a couple writers that were from the 209 actually, and we go back, and they mentioned me right away, and they had heard of me, but it wasn't like a deal sealer until they asked Method Man, who do you need on the show? And Method Man said, myself, Disaster, Hollow, Blimey, and Carter Deems. And pretty solid lineup, right? Disaster didn't work out. Disaster's disaster. We'll get into
disaster's disaster.
It's a whole other thing. But
shouts to Disaster.
Shouts to Diz, man. One of the GOAT. But yeah, we got to work on a TV show where basically celebrities are rap battling each other over a beatbox, and I got to meet just some of the most, just being on a TV set. I got to be in like 4 of the world's biggest movie studio sets in the whole world. You know what I mean? Like fucking crazy shit. Like really got to see
So that's like a real, like you got to finally be on like a real set. Like this is a set.
It's like not, Sony, you know what I mean? There's like Venom posters in the background, you know what I'm saying? Like this is where they filmed Roseanne and fucking Mary Tyler Moore show and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I got to meet, man, probably my fondest memory of the show was when I got to work one-on-one with Taye Diggs. It was just ridiculous. It was just like, it was a surreal experience teaching Taye Diggs to rap.
Word.
And he wasn't bad already by himself, mind you, because, you know, he's been in situations like that where he's had to rap. But we really refined his battle rap style. And he went out there and killed it. And all the producers loved it. Because it was a time like Jerry Springer and Ricky Lake were also battling on that episode. So they needed a lot of help with like rapping. So like all hands on deck, Ricky Lake, Jerry Springer. And the producer pulled me aside and was like, you think you can handle Taye Diggs on your own? And I'm just like, can I handle Taye Diggs on my own? Shit. You know? And I just got to kick it with Taye Diggs for like 2 hours, man, teaching him to rap. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, man. He is such a nice guy. And there are just points, like, think like just moments of us creating the, you know, the whole aesthetic of his verse. Times where it's like almost like a mini Okwerdz Taye Diggs concert over a beatbox. We're just repeating the lines at the same time together. Like we're just rapping at each other. Like some of those moments that's like some of the coolest shit I've ever done in my life ever. Just such a crazy, surreal moment. Just me and Taye Diggs rapping to each other. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. No, that's dope as fuck. Like ridiculous. That's definitely one of those things where it's just like, that's dope. Ridiculous, like look at my life. Like your life could be way fucking worse. You know what I mean? Ridiculous. Like you could have not had that experience.
Yeah, man.
That experience is ridiculously cool. I don't know why anyone would think it wouldn't be. Like, first of all,
it's cool as fuck.
What validation is it? Like you get to be, you're such a specialist in your field that you got paid as a consultant to help celebrities do something. I mean, as far as I understand the US of A, that's the highest praise.
Absolutely is.
Man, it felt good. And even at times when, you know, we're watching the taping of the show, I'm in like a VIP balcony, like watching down. There was one time where Topanga and John Mayer were standing right next to me on this balcony, and we're watching this show get taped, right? And the show's over. It would probably be the time when like the credits are rolling or some shit in the show. And Method Man looks up at the balcony, and he takes a second when all the music is off to acknowledge me, not fucking John Mayer or even Topanga. He says, shouts to my boy Okwerdz. He's a battle rap legend. If you want to see how the real battle rap stuff works, go look him up. Oh, and shouts to John Mayer. You know what I mean?
That is dope. That's fucking dumb balls. Like what?
Craziness, man. Just a ridiculous time, man. I met Kendall Jenner up there. Just crazy stuff, man. I'm not a huge like Kardashian guy or whatever, but like when you meet a Kardashian, it's just crazy. You know what I mean? Some of the most famous people on earth. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And the way that I met her was just crazy because I was working with her friend Luca Sabat, who's like a model, and he's on the show Grownish and stuff like that, right?
I already know who Luca Sabat is.
We was kicking it tough. I was teaching him to rap, and we're in his dressing room, and we're just rapping the same type of shit I was doing with Taye Diggs. And all of a sudden there's a knock on the door, and my back is to the door, so I answer the door. I open the door, it's fucking Kendall Jenner in front of my face. No clue this was gonna happen. You know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck? It's Kendall Jenner here. I was just like, hi. I was like, hello. And I just like got out the way. And she came in and was just kicking with us because Luca is her homie, and they were just talking like, oh, what are you gonna do later? You know what I mean? They're just like fucking chilling. It was interesting. Lots of weird shit, man. I met Justin Bieber's dog at Drop the Mic.
Wow, that's
all of that is cool. Everything.
Justin Bieber's dog, though.
Justin Bieber's dog.
What was he? What was it?
I don't know what the one of those little, the type of dog you would think
little tall, little small,
like a type of dog like Paris Hilton would have.
Word.
That's incredible. Like, what was it like watching other people spit your bars on TV? Or was it, were you coaching, or was it, did you write them?
Here the thing is, I was there to coach, my job was the bars are written. It's my job to get them to say them correctly and make any edits that we need to make from the original bars so that it fits on B better. Because mind you, most of the shit is written by comedians who are not rappers. So sometimes some of the lines will just be super fucking long. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
No context for a bar structure.
This shit ain't gonna fit. You know what I mean? So I'll take it and we'll kind of go over it and I'll make my edits and then we'll go over it with the celebrity and see what words they have problems saying and things of that nature. And then we have to make edits and get it back to the main people. Someone has to approve it. Then they have to give it to the teleprompter and change it in the teleprompter so they can fucking see it when it comes down. And so that was what my job was. But there was my first day that I ever there was a fluke occasion when I got to write some bars for the show. And just me in general, I showed up early like I always do to everything. And I get there.
I can attest to that.
I get there and I sit down. I'm just kind of waiting for shit to pop off because it's not even time for me to be here yet. I'm sitting at the desk in like essentially the writer's room. I'm talking to like a few of the comedians and like Rona's there and we're just kicking it. How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And I think Dumbfounded came walking in and there was a time the producer comes walking in and he lays a script on the ground. He's like, okay, Nicole Richie is here and she doesn't like this line, this line, this line, and this line. We need 12 bars right now. And everyone's like, you know what I mean? Like all the writers are on the table. I'm not a writer.
Okay.
But they look like they might have needed some help. Like they worked on this long and hard. And now they're like, fuck, 12 more bars. You know what I mean? And we need it in like 5 minutes before rehearsal starts. You know what I mean? It was like, we need this now. You know what I mean? So I stepped in and gave a couple of ideas and a bunch of my shit ended up making in the show. And one of my favorite lines that I had wrote, actually, they liked it so much that they put it in the fucking commercial, like in the trailer of the episode. So I got to see my bar like on a fucking commercial. Not only did I get to hear James Corden rap my bar to Nicole Richie live in person like 3 times and meet James Corden and all that shit, but I got to see it on the commercial too. And ET Online is like quoting my bar like on fucking, you know what I mean? Entertainment Tonight.
That's dope.
Tripping me out, man. But yeah, I wrote a bar that connected pretty hard because they were like, why don't you say a line about, Nicole Richie getting a DUI recently? I was like, well, she didn't like this line, but it's okay to talk about the DUI. Okay. But you know what I mean? But so I'm trying to think specifically, okay, we could make up a line about you getting a DUI, but like, what's something that James Corden specifically could say to her about her DUI that nobody else could say? So I came up with the line. I forget what the setup was. The comedian made it weird, but the punchline is, I do karaoke in my car. You have a breathalyzer in yours. And that was the bar. And fucking that shit made the commercial. And it was crazy. Because, James Corden does the car karaoke or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant bar.
And I just wanted it to be specific. You know what I mean? Like what anyone could talk about a DUI, but like James Corden could really say this here and be more impactful. And even over I don't want to say a dumbed down audience, but they really didn't want any kind of technical bars whatsoever. So for someone to just any random person would know what that means. So that was a couple of times I got to write a couple for Nicole Richie, for James Corden as well. I edited some of David Arquette's stuff and Brian Tyree Henry as well. I got to work with. It was just an amazing experience, man. We did it
from
for
Atlanta.
3 seasons. Yeah.
Paperboy.
He needed like no help because he was already a fucking rapper on TV. He is really good already. I told him like 2 things, like, yo, fix this and this, you're done. Bye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same with Trevor Jackson. He's already a musician. He was making up his own bars by the end of it. It was like, dude, you're good. We don't have to do shit for you. You know what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's people like Ricky Lake and Jerry Springer that needed the help more so.
Of course, though.
Chris Jericho was apparently a tough one.
Fascinating. Because he is a musician. So it's fascinating that Chris
Right.
Jericho
The musicians did really good, man. Vanessa Hudgens was probably the best one that I'd ever seen. She killed it so hard. She was putting her own fucking cadence on the flow and everything. Like she was destroying shit. I really like Vanessa Hudgens, excuse me. I
mean, it makes sense though, because they understand music. You know what I mean?
She's real. She did an amazing job. Like, I didn't get to work on that one. I was just helping with the rehearsal a little bit, but she killed it.
I really appreciate you sharing that stills. That is cool, Okwerdz. Like, you're a cool
guy.
guy.
That's cool as fuck, bro.
Cool.
Thanks,
cool as fuck, bro.
It was really fun. It was a really fun time.
Like, I'm just sitting here going, and this guy's talking to me. Like, so I'm at that point, I'm like, wow, that's fucking blessed. Like, yo, you're just so grounded. You're just so and in the middle of it, yo, I show up early. That's why my bar hit the
facts. Big facts. That's the cherry gem right there. That's the knowledge.
I love it.
You know
I wouldn't have been able to write for the show. It was a fluke. It was a fluke that turned into the trailer.
Which is like
crazy,
but it's attached to like just your character and the way that you are. Because like it's important to recognize that Okwerdz is a legend for these kinds of reasons. Like, yo, I thought about it. Like, guys, I have to like come up with titles, and I'm like, yo, even like I didn't even want to like. I had to call you an artist because you're bigger than just a rapper, right? And you're like a podcasting interviewing guy, which is just crazy cool. You're a speed runner, which I thought was blessed. You're now a ghostwriter. You're like all this other shit. Like you're one of those guys that just is so interesting. And when I talked to Let Me Know, he was like, be sure to tell Okwerdz he's a fucking great guy.
Hey, Let Me Know, that's the fucking homie. Man, we had some really good nights with that guy as well, man. He's essentially, I think, who connected us all to Epic Mealtime, really, at the end of the day. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was. He's my first experience meeting them for sure. Just those guys are such a great time.
And those guys are Quebec guys, right?
Straight out Montreal. That's what it is.
Montreal, word.
I'm just gonna
love. Let Me Know, man. It's great. He's a great guy as well.
Yeah, I had him on the show. I was talking.
Fire.
Recently, because like, for Montreal, he's pretty significant. He was doing a bunch of shows and stuff during an era. He basically repped the West Island, so one particular part, and so he was involved heavily and but he was the camera guy, which is kind of how he ended up. So he has all these behind the scenes.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Stuff.
Dude. He's
like
amazing.
He was just there. He was telling me he was there with you.
He was in Toronto.
And then when that punch happened and the disaster, he was with you there.
Right.
I'm like, that's so cool. Like,
yeah, he was also the first time I ever partied with the Epic Mealtime guys, man. It was the best part of my whole trip to Toronto. When I had to go to Toronto to battle Real Deal, dude, it was such a rough trip because they lost my luggage, and it was just, they were really like grilling me over some old legal shit at the border. It was really a fucking pain in the ass. And the whole trip was really rough. I think even Real Deal had like lost his fucking wallet or some shit somewhere. Like, it was just not the greatest trip or performance for either one of us. But after the battle, when we linked up with Epic Mealtime, that was like the fucking greatest time of the whole trip. It was we got on a party bus. There was some band from Canada. I forget the name. They're a super popular band, huge, full budget ass tour bus. Just huge party, man. Huge party. And they filmed the episode. I'm on 2 episodes of Epic Mealtime. Fucking smashing. Me and Lush was on there, just eating all this weird ass shit. Man, those are great guys, man. I love those guys.
Oh, for sure. No, that's like, it's cool to hear, honestly. Because it's like
they're legends too, by the way. Fucking legends, internet legends. Facts.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It was cool because I was like in like college age when they like popped off and whatever, and they're like from Montreal, so like the whole city was plastered with their merch and things like that.
It's fire. And it's nice looking merch too.
It like went really global and was way less here because they weren't here anymore. They were like everywhere else. So that's when y'all got them like after. So it's so interesting to hear like that. Like, I didn't even realize that there was connections between Epic Mealtimes and KOTD until I'm watching it. I'm like, wait a second, that's the Epic Mealtimes dude standing right there next to Organic and everything. Is like, and then it's like, I'm learning all this. It's
Harley hosted my battle with Real Deal. I'm pretty sure Let Me Know was probably the gateway through all that.
That's really cool though. It's like cool to learn that. Like, these are just like, especially because like now I talk to them, so it's like, man, it's like, like, I don't know. I'm tripping a little bit in the best ways. But what happened after Scribble Jam?
Well, after Scribble Jam, I had battled a little bit more in a few other tournaments, battled other people. I think that was around the time, I think I had stopped battling for like 4 years. and I was doing a lot of music stuff. I was doing a lot of tours. I toured for a month in Australia with DJ Qbert and Supernatural, and I basically lived in Australia for a month. I got on this massive record in Australia that went gold, and we got to perform for like 10,000 people with a symphony and like all types of crazy shit, and just working on records with all these different people. I released an album and you know, several different things. And that was around the time battle rap kind of started transitioning into the more acapella, like YouTube-ish, you know, kind of thing. When when YouTube started coming around and things of that nature, and even the WRC was kind of transitioning, and Fight Clubs, all the other stuff that was already going on, and Smack, it was all heading that direction. Everybody was heading in that direction. But you know, it became very popular on YouTube. And I guess when Grind Time first started popping off, I think the West Coast division in Grind Time was really a big part of Grind Time in a way. Everybody played their role. The West Coast had their own thing. New York had their own thing. We had some pretty special events.
No, you can stop being humble, bro. Like, you guys were definitely like the top standard. When we had Lush on here, I was like explaining like the whole, like, yo, when I, as like a guy on the East Coast, looking at the graphics that you guys would have above your fucking heads, like, isn't art today? If I'm not mistaken, isn't those guys the guys that ended up doing like some of the graphic stuff for like Transformers movies and shit? Like, yeah,
that's Avocado. I mean, he worked on Iron Man. Yeah. He worked on Iron Man. Like, when you see Iron Man punch through the fucking cave, like, that's him. You know. Yeah.
You know, like, come on, you guys had that. Like, you know, I was definitely looking like. I was definitely looking around like,
man,
graphics like that.
Right.
I want some shit. I want some shit to transform over my head.
Man, it's crazy from the pixelated shit not recognizing the motherfucker's face to looking movie trailer-ish. It's crazy. But I think when it started making that transition, it started popping off, and I kind of started getting the itch a little bit. Where I was like, this is interesting. You know what I mean? I'd always, you know, I guess towards the end of like the on beat, like freestyle type battles, you know, I'd seen like Smack battles and like Mook battles, and this was all very new to me. The idea of showing up somewhere and writing actual verses for a battle only. That was a crazy concept for me, in opposed to freestyling about your appearance for 30 seconds. You know what I mean? It was very different. So, of course, when shit goes a cappella, like, I wanted to do that. Like, I want to battle these guys. These are the guys that are doing it. You know what I mean? These are the motherfuckers I want to battle. You know what I mean? If I'm going to truly tell, I wanted to be, I guess at that time, a very well-rounded battle rapper, in the sense where I could freestyle and beat battle you. I could go beat Mook. I could go fuck up with Grind Time. You know what I mean? I want to be the guy that could just be a part of all that shit. You know what I mean? I want to consume all the different styles of battle rap. So when it started going a cappella, that's really, you know, what I wanted to do. I've been battling, you know, nerdy white boys on beat my whole fucking life. I want to battle some gangsters, bro. Let's go. You know what I mean? Let's go. I want to battle like different kinds of people in battle rap and see where I really stand against all these different styles of battle rap. You know what I mean? Like, and, you know, we battled a bunch of gangsters in Stockton too, but I mean, like, fools that were known, you know what I mean? Like, people who had like fucking reputation and were like popular in the scene, you know? But I think I arrived, I guess, when I decided to come back to battle rap, was at a unique time period where, I don't know, I guess it was a unique time period where it was kind of still fresh and new in a way, in an organized type of fashion. And I guess I just impacted people early on. And it really took off after my very first battle. Like, I remember, and people still say the same stuff to me today if I were to come back right now. But between my last rap battle and going to my first Grind Time battle, everybody was talking shit to me. Like, he's not going to be able to do it. It's a whole different sport now. You know what I mean? Yeah. This isn't 30 seconds over a beat, me clowning you real quick, maybe a couple heads in my head. This is different. You know, and a lot of people that came from that era didn't always make it.
Yeah, the translation wasn't there.
You know what I mean? A lot of them didn't make it. And I just got very lucky that from my first battle, there was controversy. It popped off. It got on World Star. Like, overnight, things in my life changed immediately. You know what I mean? On one battle. This battle isn't even one of the ones that hit 1 million views. You know what I mean? And everything changed just off that already. I'm going to the mall in Stockton, or I'm going to the club and they're letting me in for free and shit because they saw me on World Star and shit. You know what I mean? So things are changing immediately.
To the World Star door here.
Right. I became like one of the most liked people on World Star at one point.
The comments were very favorable to you.
Dude, they loved, dude. I couldn't imagine it. They loved me on World Star, bro. There's people in real life that only seen my battles that were on World Star. So if I had a battle drop and it didn't make World Star, they didn't watch it. They didn't see it.
Yeah.
There's a whole army of people that only see me on World Star.
Yeah, there's a whole army of people that are like that. A lot of them
the whole T-Rex controversy.
City.
Yeah,
I know people like that.
Yeah. The whole T-Rex controversy, that whole everything on World Star. We were on World Star every week.
Yeah.
Me and Rex going back and forth. It was insane. All that shit there changed my life. Everybody like just instantly like. So the second battle we did was with XI. It didn't make it to World Star. It didn't have quite the big like impact, but the people who were there would tell me things like, this is the best live performance I've ever seen in a rap battle. Like people were really shocked by the XI battle. So like, okay. And then from that point on, that's when we did the Arsenal battle. And that's when everything changed forever. That's like no turning back. Everything is completely different now. Arsenal at the time, he was a hot, upcomer at the time. He had just won the Fight Club thing, beat Hollow the Don pretty handedly, was cooking like, fucking Tech Nine and all those folks, and he had just battled Rich Dollars. He actually had choked. I think it was like his first loss or some shit. And Grind Time was like, you're one of the top guys in the league. You're getting a lot of attention from your battles. We want to, drop $1,000 to get you like a bigger name. Who do you want to battle? And I said I want to battle Arsenal or T-Rex or fucking. I don't know why I said Charles Hamilton. I don't know why. I just wanted to fucking battle. I don't know why. And,
that was back then.
Yeah, those are the three people I told him, and didn't even get to Rex or Charles Hamilton. Arsenal said yes right away, and we fucking booked it. He was the first one they asked. Arsenal don't back down from shit. If you're giving him
Arsenal
money,
Arsenal's a great like dude to like work with when it comes to like bringing him in.
Yeah, definitely. No, if you got money for, you got some money for him, he'll pull up. He's not.
He'll pull up.
He's not going to back down. He's not scared of nobody, man. And, we had a battle, and that battle changed my life forever, man. Just
why? I mean, I watched a battle that was Grind Time Arsenal, so I know what battle you're talking about.
Right.
On some, I watched it, but like for me watching it and going, that's a battle. I bet like if you were to ask me how to even pick who wins this shit, I'm baffled on how to objectively, unless I'm still absorbing y'all styles at this point.
Right. Well, that's the thing about battle rap. It's subjective. Nobody. I mean, if there's no judge, nobody actually won or lost. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
and even
whatever you want.
Let's be honest, bro. Like even back, like that was part of what like Grind Time like had a little bit of like people loved it because there was judging, and then people hated it because there was bad judging. Some dudes
just like, be lit at the event. It's like, yeah, dog, this fool won.
Yeah, and it was also one of those.
I need another round.
I don't think that like you could ever really make sure that the judges were like a full round panel that like can really, and that's part of what I think made URL take off so much. Was the no judging. So
well, the fact you can argue forever, it's the best way to do it.
Argue it forever.
The best way to do it.
It's the best way to do it. Thing to do, like just that, because that's what it is anyway. It's subjective.
That's all it is. You shouldn't judge it.
Like
unless there's incentive or money on the line, you should never just judge a battle to judge a fucking battle. Nowadays, because now art is subjective. Like, okay, let's say you have the most credible judges. You got Poison Pen, you got fucking Direct, you got everybody, the fucking Jay Black, you got all these motherfuckers judging, right? These are fucking top great opinions on battle rap as far as I'm concerned. But even they have their own preferences that they would rather see. You know what I mean? There's something that might hit Penn that doesn't hit Jay Black.
I've seen it happen.
Who are you to say that this is better than that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's all subjective. You can't really judge it You know what I mean? Like, no matter who you are, you can't really judge it. You just have to, if you do have some stakes on the line and you do have to get a judge, you just have to make sure it's people you trust and hope for the best. That's it.
Yeah.
So
all you can do.
So that, how did that change your life? Is it because it just got crazy views
Right.
and then you became like a celebrity overnight?
It was one of the first rap battles in that era to really go stupid viral and quick. But not just that, it was the nature of the shit that I said that set off the fucking planet. It's not just, hey, you did really good in a rap battle, now it's going viral. It's because I said certain things that hit certain nerves that went viral in certain ways also. They got tons of extra attention on it. My battle verse to Arsenal wasn't just a battle verse to Arsenal. You know what I mean? I was like shitting on several people at one time and talking like gang politics and like all types of different things in this verse. And that shit hit World Star, had the craziest parentheses. You know what I mean? It's like Okwerdz versus Arsenal rap battle, parentheses. Okwerdz says East Coast Crips aren't real. You know what I mean? It's just like the craziest like parentheses. You know what I mean? So just like everybody was like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? And it blew up on World Star. Tough, man. But surprisingly, the comments were all in my favor for the most part. Like, I expected to just get shit on because World Star is a very negative place. They don't really care what's what. But the response was surprisingly fantastic. I couldn't believe it. And the video just went off. And from that point on, it's like everywhere I would go. And even to this day, you know, people just catch me everywhere. If I'm in another country, if I'm in another state, it doesn't matter. They pull me aside everywhere. I'm not saying I get fucking swarmed at McDonald's, but I'm saying like,
I already know what it is.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That's when that started. You know, it definitely escalated and got crazier since, but that's when it really, really started. Like the Jay's Juice thing got some big fucking push, but the Arsenal thing really put it over. And then following that, the feud with T-Rex, because I had called out T-Rex pretty viciously in the battle. So it led to me and T-Rex pretty much blogging back and forth at each other on World Star almost every other week for a while.
These are the things it's good that we're, you know, like what you just said, it's, you don't know it, right? But like it's following this storyline that has been happening naturally on the show. Like the Rec was here talking about like the blogging and like we were just discussing the fact that like we were really early with that was the way that we got things popping in battle rap.
Got out of people. Yeah,
blogging.
Definitely. Yeah, even the jungle was doing the spazzes even as well, man. Like that's how you just get at a motherfucker, you know what I mean? And I just like to stir the hornet's nest all the time. I was calling out this, that, and the third person, and people I think were just so caught off guard by how fucking all the smoke that I just wanted. You know what I mean? And I just think it just resonated with a lot of people in a big way. And just set off a lot of events after that. The feud with me and T-Rex would lead to a super hyped big battle, which also did extremely good numbers as well. So those type of things just kept building on. It just got bigger and bigger through the battle rap thing. And we got to go overseas and do rap battles. You know, we did a rap battle in Sweden where the whole there's a line literally around the block to watch us battle. Like, what? In Sweden? You know what I mean? Packed a house in Manchester, packed house in London. Like, it's just insane, dude. And it just kept progressing. And, you know, I was still working on music at the same time as well. And the battles were extremely helping on my music sales, like tenfold. You know, I'm actually one of the first people that, maybe even the first, that introduced the idea of selling an album through rap battles by the way of commercials at the end. And everybody does it now. And that's the way I intended. I'm not like, y'all bit my shit. That's what I intended. You know what I mean?
No, it was a great, you know what I did that I did not see anybody doing on the internet that like I originated, that I'm not mad that the entire world took it, but like the whole like putting a picture online of just like something random and like adding the link to your music in the like description. Nobody was doing that at the time. And I just was like, yo, this is a great way to promote that project. And the next thing you know, that shit is awash all over the internet.
Everybody does it. But it works, man.
It works. It works. Exactly.
I sold a considerable amount of merch and CDs. Even, you know, the first time, like Non-Perishables Volume 1 is a compilation that we put out around the same time as one of the biggest battle rap events in history, Battle of the Bay 5. And the whole campaign was commercials for the compilation through all of the battle videos. So it was to a point where everybody knew these songs. They're playing in the beginning of in the video of every fucking battle. So you know these songs. And one of our compilations was like in the top 50 something on Amazon or something. Like shit was popping, man. And it really works. And we got to be ahead of the curve on a whole lot of shit and do a lot of things and make money off a lot of things before everybody figured it out. So I think it was me being there at a pivotal moment, also having the performances that I had, and also even when Grind Time came back, the reason they even gave me good battles and stuff is because a lot of my respect points had rolled over previously from the previous era when I was the first California dude to go battle at Rocksteady and really get shit jumping on for the West Coast in battle rap. You know, I'm one of the very, very founding fathers of West Coast battle rap, period. So that definitely rolled over into, well, who's gonna battle this guy? Well, fucking Okwerdz wants to do it. Shit, let's go. You know what I mean? And so a combination of all those things, man, it really took off.
Yo, that's a lot to process quick, but I really appreciate it, man. It's like you're a legend. That's just kind of what it is.
Yeah, nah, big facts. When I shared the link for the Facebook, you know, feed, I'm like sharing it in all the like hip hop groups, right? And I'm like, you know, titling it like interview a sick, you know, come join us as we interview, you know, West Coast battle rap legend. Okwerdz, right. You know what I mean? Like he's a West Coast battle rap legend. Like these are things that like I've been like trying to get a lot of the other guys from like our era to understand is like, yo, we started this industry that exists now. Like we like everything that happened before absolutely helped, right? But like what we created in that era is essentially the blueprint that exists to this day right now. You know,
it absolutely is, man.
And it's a whole ass industry. And like
we had to do it before people knew it was cool. We were the ones that knew it was cool deep down before everybody else knew it was cool, and we had to build the shit. You know what I mean? Even Grind Time era, I'm probably biased because it was a great time for me, but that was one of the greatest times in battle rap ever. You know what I mean? I was low key one of the faces of the era, so I'm very blessed that even still today, I haven't battled in almost 10 years. To this day, I got mentioned in like 2 rap battles this year already. You know what I mean? For what? You know what I mean? I'm just connected to a lot of different situations, and if you're going to battle a certain person, then I'm probably going to come up. That's how it's been.
I mean, basically the best way I would define a legend would be that if after a decade people still reference you as part of a culture, I mean that's how it is. I mean, that's the only way to be a legend, and time has to pass. It can't be some like you pop in and you're an insta legend. It's more like you just said, I didn't know that, but people reference you as bars. Like
always constantly, you know, they'll say my name directly, or I think the last one I heard was like Real Deal versus Sharon. There was a couple bars in there about me. I think I heard multiple people talk to Sue Surf about our little situation. Just lots of different. Those are probably the most recent ones, I would say.
So when did you stop battle rapping then?
I think my last battle was in Australia, and I battled a guy named 360, who at the time just blew up so hard in Australia. I'm talking, this man his album went triple platinum.
Yeah. And I mean, to be fair,
it's way less than in America. It's not. It's not 3 million.
Platinum is essentially
like 75 or 100K.
I think it's 500,000, and then that would make the record like essentially platinum and a half in America, like million and a half.
Numbers are like way smaller, man.
Yeah, in Australia,
Australia's only got
it's
like
less than 100K. It's less than 100K records to go platinum.
Yeah, like even Canada, it's less than that. And like they have a smaller.
But mind you, they paid double American dollars lightweight for a CD. Like the boy was.
He huge. Like I don't
huge.
even wanna,
one of the biggest.
Like wild hater coming.
No.
Right?
One of the biggest.
But
no,
no
but it
hate.
is a
Like,
fact that needs to be mentioned. It is a fact that
No,
needs to be
it's
mentioned.
worth mentioning.
It is
but
different.
Then it's
It is
also
different.
like
it is different.
worth mentioning that the reason it's so much smaller is because literally there's like what 28 million.
Right, it's an
in
island.
Australia, and
You know
then
what I
you
mean?
have
It's a small place.
350 million people in America. So it just makes sense that the numbers are bigger in the States and that the numbers are smaller in
and
other countries.
I mean, that was greatly influential to why I battled him. I had never had any desire in my life to ever battle 360. No need. There's no reason. But I was sitting in the Toronto airport, and after I was on my way home from battling Real Deal, I got this email asking if I wanted to battle 360, and I'd never really thought about that before. There was one time me and Disaster were going to do a 2-on-2 versus him and Justice way back when, and we wrote a few funny bards about them, but it got canceled. It didn't end up happening. But one-on-one, never. Like, why? It didn't even make any sense. But now he's triple platinum, the most famous rapper in the whole country. It's a little different. So I said yes. I said, okay, fine, we'll do this battle. Fine. I'd never, have you ever seen a battle of mine? It's usually pretty aggressive. I'm not really like into the big jokey type of thing. So I was always very hesitant to battle someone who's just hilarious. You know what I mean? I was like, how's this gonna go? Is he just gonna make fun? Like, why are you so mad all the time? Like, and just make fun of me? Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. But I took the battle. The tickets sold out in 1 hour. Fucking ridiculous. He is so famous over there. I don't know why he agreed to doing the battle, but they said he wanted to battle me. I don't know why.
Because you're a legend.
The man literally just got rich. The man literally just got rich. He just came off Australia's biggest rap battle of all time. Him versus Cursor got 2 million views in like a fucking week or some shit. It was insane because they're both super famous in Australia. So like, I'll do it. Fuck it. He's famous. You know, I'm coming off 2 battles that aren't necessarily my best performances. One of which I got my ass kicked in. One is like debatable, whatever. So I'm like, yeah, we'll do it. I do the battle. I fly to Australia. Not only do I battle this man in Australia, I battled him literally in his hometown in the midst of him going triple platinum. You know what I mean? All the media hype is like in Australia is like 360 is going to kill another American. You know what I mean? Like that's the fucking, like, that's the buzz on the streets of Australia. You know what I mean? Because mind you, previously to him going triple platinum.
That's the word in Sydney.
Yeah, that's the word in the streets. Previously before that, I believe Madness and Dirtbag Dan had both went over there, and 360 battled them both on the same night. And I believe he won. Both of them were judged battles, and he beat them both. So like, that's how the narrative of like, he's going to kill another American is like,
the legend of, you know what I mean? In
right. Yeah. He's going to kill all the Americans. You know what I mean? So that was the narrative. You know what I mean? All his fans that bought his album bought the fucking tickets in 5 seconds. You know what I mean? I'm going there. I'm thinking like, this is maybe the stupidest battle I've ever taken in my life. You know what I mean? I'm probably going to get just roasted right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck, all his fans are going to be there. And he just went triple platinum. I'm in his hometown. Like, this is fucking wrong. This is wrong.
Yeah. Could have went real bad.
Yeah. Could have real bad.
Like, logistically speaking, right? Like if you and me were talking and you were on your way there, I'd be like, yo, just do it, get the bag, don't worry about it. You know, you're gonna lose because you're in his hometown.
I don't know what's happening.
He's not gonna let you walk out of there with no W's.
And he's funny.
But
he's
no
legit hilarious.
Bag, you know, like
right. And he's legit hilarious. You know what I mean? What if my angry shit doesn't come off? You know what I mean? What if he just sits there and just laughs at me like, ha 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 ha? You know what I mean? So I showed up to the battle, and by my 4th bar, I knew I was going to win. Round 1, bar 4. The way the crowd went crazy on the 4th bar, I was like, oh, dude, it's over. I was like, I'm actually going to win. I was like, what? I was kind of like, this moment was like going off in my head. Like, wait a minute. I'm going to win. This is crazy. And for the whole battle, I won all 3 rounds. Like, so like, there was like a really big thing about it in Australia when it happened. Like, it was fucked up. Like, his girlfriend was there. And at the time, like, him and his girlfriend were like one of those power Instagram couples, like on fucking in Australia. They were like a famous couple, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And her family was there. They're like, we're gonna watch my fucking man kill this fucking American, you know what I mean? And I destroyed him, and I had bars about the girl too, and it was fucked up. And fuck, man, that was crazy. It was a fun time, man. That was my last battle, and it got super slept on because I tailor-made it for the Australian audience, and there's lots of Australian hip-hop references because I'm super familiar with the scene. I spent a lot of time there. So I wrote it tailor-made for them, and they're going berserk on every single fucking bar, the entire battle. It's like nonstop. It's one of my craziest performances I've ever had in my life, I'm telling you. But Americans will watch it, and they don't really understand what the fuck I'm talking about. They're just like, well, obviously he killed it, but I don't know what this means. You know what I mean? So it didn't get like super big buzz in America, but because I was battling 360, we still got like 500,000 views, so it's cool.
Crazy.
No, that's amazing. Still, like even
that's the last battle I did. Yeah,
like,
could have been way bigger, but
you go out like kind of bodying a local up and coming legend, being like, nah, I'm a real legend.
He was already Australian legend, right?
Already he had much success, but this was dude, like imagine you go triple platinum and the next week, I'm gonna battle Okwerdz, like in the midst, like I'm sure his life is just changing in like America, a crazy way.
Happen.
Like
they wouldn't no label would like give the okay for that in America. Like you bugging. What?
And especially not Okwerdz. You're especially not battling Okwerdz.
Embarrass yourself and damage your brand. And now people don't want to buy into the like mystique that they thought that you had. Right. You're not doing that. You cost too much. We've invested too much money for you to like risk that. You know?
I don't know how it was even a thing, dude. I would have canceled it. Honestly, if I was in the midst of preparing and 360 hit me up and canceled the battle, say, dude, I just went triple platinum. My fucking life is going crazy right now. I wouldn't even have been mad. I would have understood. I'm like, dude, if I were you, I would have canceled this shit. The last thing I'm gonna do after going triple platinum is battle Okwerdz. What the fuck? Bad idea. Bad idea. Bad idea.
I'm good. I'm not battling nobody. Once I go triple platinum, I'm like, Why?
I'm battling against yacht dealerships.
I won the battle of life. Why would I battle?
I'm battling against yacht dealerships, bro. That's the only battle I'm having. Huh? But hey, sometimes people feeling themselves. They feeling themselves. They're like, hey, I could beat Okwerdz. No, you cannot.
That's serious though. Like that's a big story. If like that's a legend.
Dude, it was like an atom bomb in Australia. When that shit happened, it was big news, bro. America didn't really hear about it so much, but it was it was a big deal.
Harm his career in a tangible way.
It did and it didn't. You know, from the outsider's view, me watching it after the battle happened and still, he's my friend, so still keeping tabs on what he's up to. It appeared that no damage whatsoever. He didn't even post it when it came out. He didn't even share the video. You know what I mean?
Word.
So, I feel like he just kept seeing more success, but I guess in reality, in retrospect, he's been coming over some hard times after that. And I guess, I don't know if it had anything to do with it. I wish 360 the best though. He is a really nice person. I really like him a lot, but I don't know. I guess it affected him a little bit, but in the most part, I don't think it did. Especially at the time, I was like, there's no way it could hurt this guy.
I mean, if he didn't share it, he just probably did the good old, like, hey, like if you don't give light to the media, like it's not, it's
imagine
not
how many
like
views it would have had if he shared it. It'd have been crazy.
Yeah,
it'd have been crazy. It'd have been crazy. I was the only one promoting it, and plus, the whole country of Australia.
That's amazing. So what happened after battle rap?
After battle rap, it's kind of the same stuff I'd always been doing, even during battle rap. Making music, doing shows, working on new business ventures, like eventually the TV show, the radio show. A bunch of just different things, the stream, just for the last like 10 years, it's been doing a little of everything, and just things that I'm passionate about, I just do them, we did the record with Method Man. That was real big. We dropped some big compilations. Just been staying busy, man. Always around. I mean, this last year with the pandemic has been a lot slower, and I've had to rely on more things like this that are like, an interactive stream or like a game stream and stuff like that. So during this time right now, the last like year specifically, or year and a half or whatever, it's been a lot of streaming stuff. It's been a lot of writing songs behind the scenes, waiting for, you know, when I want to, you know, go back into one of these big studios that we record at when it's, you know, more opened and cool, I guess, at the time. And we got this vinyl with Method Man coming out. We dropped a song with Method Man. The music video's out. Got like fucking 4 million views on Facebook or something crazy like that. It's doing cool on YouTube and Spotify and all that. We're going to drop a special edition vinyl. I wanted to drop it last year, but with all this COVID stuff, I just didn't feel right, like introducing some kind of like luxurious ass product during the middle of a pandemic. So I just kind of like held back. And not only that, some pressing plants are like closed during COVID, not even fucking operating. So everyone's backed up, but we're going to drop a special edition vinyl autographed. Hopefully, I think by me and Meth and Collage. It's going to be fire. And then I got a song with D40 coming pretty soon. Bunch of solo stuff that I've been writing. We got fire in the hole, man. Lots of things on the way, man. More world record video games.
You going to shoot a video with 40?
I sure hope so, man.
Yeah, man.
That's the goal.
That's definitely like.
That's the goal, man. That's the goal.
That's another one to hang up there, you know, like right next to that, like, oh man, the achievement of being able to like be.
It's a banger too. It's a
banger. Be able to get paid on the TV show from doing what I love. Being able to do a song with the guy that got me the job, right?
Right.
And then right next to that, and next to the Brother Lynch Hung feature, right? And then the E40, like, right, bro, that's jewelry, that's rings,
man.
No,
that's crazy. Like, crazy.
Like when it comes to rap shit, like these are the stats. That's the shit that makes rings, you know?
Like Method Man is my favorite Wu. So if I have to pick my favorite, it's Meth. So just seeing that, like, you got to understand, I looked at it and I was like instantly like, yo, I fucks with Okwerdz more. I had a deep level. Then to find out Brother Lynch Hung is like, wow, that's actually really fucking cool.
And actually, Mac Mall is on that song too. It's me, Mac Mall, Brother Lynch, and my boy Ren.
Ooh.
That's like second.
My boy Ren from a group called Doja Click, which actually, let me tell you a quick little Stockton history. When I was in the 5th grade, I had never heard of any Stockton rappers ever in history. And I got this tape from my friend and we listened to it. I was like, who the fuck is this? This is Doja Click. Only Stockton rappers I ever knew when I was a little kid. And they were the only rap group in Stockton to sell 100,000 albums out the trunk. And they were mixing it up with some Bay Area artists in the early 90s at the time. And Ren did an album. There's a whole album with Brother Lynch. And they invited me to be on that album, and it did very well on iTunes as well as on like the fucking charts.
Dude, it's so cool.
Yes, though. That's the one. Ishmael knows what's up.
Yo, Ishmael is the real one. Ishmael.
That's the exact album. Premeditated. That's the one. Got a song with Mac Mall on there. Fire.
House Ishmael.
Big shout. I've got to work with some people that I really look up to, man. But I'm not finished yet. I gotta collect the Ice Cube achievement. I got to collect the Jay-Z achievement trophy. Those are my two favorite rappers of all time. Those are my two. Those are the best ever.
So if you think about it, the battle rappers were the mainstream rappers and celebrities were collecting battle rappers back in the day, and now Okwerdz is going, who am I gonna collect? And we're kind of interested, and it's like,
big facts, right? Holden, nice. I like
that a lot. I like it. Yo, Okwerdz, you're so cool, man. You wanna
now we collecting them.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Okay, like, you got to talk a bit more about the radio show, but if it's okay with you, I really got to take a quick little bathroom break, and then if we can talk about the radio show.
Yeah, absolutely.
You already know.
Bro, I'm chilling.
Yeah.
Yo, tell me more about being on set. What's like the whole environment there? While Pleasant, is Jensen involved in the?
He is the producer of the show. Like it is James Corden and Jensen Karp's show.
Word.
You know what I mean? Like it is theirs. It started as James Corden's like skit that was on the Late Show. He did a rap battle, and who the fuck was it? It was like fucking, I don't even remember who it was. I'm an idiot for that. But they decided to green light it for an entire show, and it went 3 seasons. And the whole environment was crazy. Just me just a dude from Stockton, never being allowed in no shit like this.
Yes, of course.
This is a real set, man. We filmed the show literally where they filmed Roseanne and fucking Mary Tyler Moore show in the same room,
Yeah, no, that's epic, dude. No, and that's why I keep on asking, because like, yo, when that happened, like, I was like, yo, I was proud. There's certain things that like I look at it and I'm like, yo, this is a win for our culture and what we did.
It is.
And to be able to go from we were battle rapping on YouTube for respect and a little piece of change, right?
Right.
To being able to be like, yo, I get paid from like doing what I love on a TV show. Like that is super. And, like, what?
People's main criticism, and I totally understand it. There's a lot of people that were salty about the show that were like on some purist shit, like, it's corny or the rhymes are weak or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? It was like dumbed down, watered down for TV. And I get that approach. Yeah. But at the end of the day, man, like, look, I'll just say this. You try teaching Chris Jericho to battle rap for real, and you tell me how that shit turns out.
Yeah, no, that's not like
random people gotta be able to understand it.
The people that criticize it in that way aren't really looking at like the real TV picture. They don't have a full grasp of the way that media works.
These people that watch random TV on TBS at night are not fucking lyric aficionados, bro. They're not lyric aficionados. Man.
They don't care. They
give them a punchline. Give them a punchline. Yeah. Maybe they'll go look up a real battle. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Period.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's the goal. They're gonna do the show no matter what. So they don't have to bring us on.
Yeah, no, they don't. And that's
they're gonna do the show.
Like
they're gonna do the show.
The fact that like James Corden and Jensen Karp like
they went to bat for this, man.
They got meth involved. They made sure to have you, Hollow, Blimey. Like this is like, yo, actually doing right by things. Again, like you said, right? Like
they're gonna do the show.
You might not be Nick Cannon's cup of tea, right? But it don't matter because it's still a great look for battle rap. Like those guys are like in America's living room every day doing the kind of watered down version of what we do,
Exactly.
And like that's dope. Like that's super dope. Like any small little incremental ways that we can push it forward and get new fans potentially to bring their eyes to what we do, like That's a good day. And like the fact that that show happened and that you guys got to have that happen and that pushes forward battle rap, like that's all win right there.
It was a beautiful thing, man. It was such a good time. Like as far as the set itself, like anytime you've seen a movie where they show a movie set and there's people carrying things by and there's fucking golf carts and blah blah blah, like that's really what it looks like. Chances are they really filmed that in a real studio because that's what it's really like. You know what I mean? You have a pass that can go certain places. You have motherfuckers picking you up. You have a lunch trailer where everybody goes to eat. You know what I mean? There's a writer's room. There's the area where the coaches are. There's areas for the teleprompter people. There's people for the executives. There's separate rooms for the celebrities. Like all separate car services taking you everywhere. Like when we had to go get Lucas Sabat, it was the only time that we ever had to do this, but his flight was fucked. It was like super late and he didn't make it to set on time. So they sent me and a beatboxer in probably the nicest car service I've ever been in my life. Little fucking with a bowl with all pink Starburst in it. Only the pink ones. And we fucking drove to the airport and I taught Lucas about how to rap on the way to the fucking studio from the airport in a car. And we got to the studio and then met Kendall Jenner. It was just ridiculous shit the whole time.
Yeah, no, that's dope. That's dope shit, bro. Like that's the type of shit. Like that's what we none of us ever thought when we started when we started rapping, right? And it automatically led to all these battles and like getting like good at like being able to, you know, like you mentioned it earlier when you were like a few bars into that battle with 360 and you realized it in the instant, like your mind switched. It's like, that's why I liken it to sports. You know, it's like baseball. It's being able to keep it's not like baseball, right? Of course.
Right. It's like baseball, but it's not like baseball.
The amount of like immediate, like your brain thinking on its toes that you do that is similar to like hitting
improv,
like
all that shit.
Keeping your eye on a shoulder to know when a punch is coming from a certain way. Like it's all the same type of muscles in your brain that you're using, that like you got to be wild peak to be able to like pull it off, you know, like and to be able to in that moment like be like, oh, it's about to, and you give a different type of energy, and then the crowd gives you a different type of energy, and that's what causes that
addictive,
whole,
man.
like,
getting that crazy crowd reaction is a trip, man. The more people it is, it's just the craziest. I remember like I won a battle at an exhibit concert one time, and it was like 20,000 people there, and I just cooked. It was you know, just hearing that many people go crazy for your line is just nuts. Just out of control.
Oh, your life is so fascinating. Like just hearing the way you describe it, but you're also so humble about it, which is really cool. You're just like, yeah, it's just things that happen. Like,
well, I mean, at the end of the day, we ain't shit. But... You know what I mean? I'm not rich. Even if I was rich, I wouldn't be an asshole. But I'm just saying, you know, I'm not. You know, I'm just.
You met meth, so now you know not to be. You know, and you know what it is. Like you don't gotta be. Like that be the thing that like most people don't get. Like they really just get so. But I mean, it's probably more along the lines of the circumstances that they had in their lives were very privileged, and that's why they don't understand, because then they get famous and rich, and it's even more detached with reality. So it's just like, why would you ever think about the normal everyday person when you've never been the normal everyday person, and you always come from a privileged perspective? You're not going to understand something like that, you know. But like you go through some hardships in life, and like you get something, and you're way more appreciative of it, you know. You're way more like
big facts,
you know.
But like as this man said, man, experiences like that, you can't buy the shit you lived.
You sure shit can't.
You can always get rich.
Well, I mean, there, you know, I think to understand and grasp a lot of stuff too, you got to get beat down a little bit too, you know. There was a time when people said it was over for me, you know what I mean? And you just got to keep trucking and keep doing cooler shit. You know, surprise, it's not over, motherfucker. I got a lot more tricks. I got so many tricks. I've got so many tricks.
No, like I'm looking at you like, yo, Okwerdz is doing kinds of all sorts of interesting stuff. I mean, like there's still like other aspects of your life that we just haven't even expanded on, and we're like well over 2 hours, which just proof of you being mad interesting.
Because we still haven't even talked about his interviewing and his show.
And we haven't talked on that. We haven't talked. We were going to talk about the radio station job.
I'm down for whatever, man. I'm here. It's good. Let's do it.
Nah, I'm cool too, man. Okwerdz. I think you're one of them. Like you're fascinating, and you're just so knowledgeable too. And that's the thing, is your memory is really good.
Shit, this is good, man. I've smoked a lot of my memory away, though. There's a lot I don't remember. I can't. I'm trying to think of the stuff I can't remember. It's probably crazier.
Right? That happens to me all the time. Yo, I was just fascinated. I was just posting about this. It got no like, you know, traction at all, right? But because it's so personal, right? Like the fact that like there's certain commercials that like it becomes like you hear it so much that like it becomes something in your life, right? And then it doesn't. And then years pass, and then it comes and pops back in your head, and you're like, oh my God, remember when I used to talk about that thing all the time? Remember when it used to be all the time, talk about, you know, like I said earlier, you know, with the Jesus Christ, you know, that's been with me now since he came out, and it's gonna be with me for a few years, you know, because it's already been a year, you know, or more.
209, baby. Like that's 2 years. 209 right there.
Since that video came out, you know,
that's a 209.
Like that stuck with me. Like I really fuck with it, you know. So it's just like, but it's that, you know. everybody has their own personal weird thing. Like that
Right.
they saw a movie and they were like, they heard somebody say something a certain way, and they're just like, I'm gonna say that like that whenever I mean it like that, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I'll be real with you. I now say shit like it's Liddy, bro.
Hey,
Yeah,
slang
bro.
definitely
That's
slang
not
rubs off, dude.
even fake
Everywhere
at all.
I
I say it
go,
all the time.
I've picked up so much random slang from all over the world that I've been and all the things that I've done. Sometimes when I talk to certain people, they don't understand where I'm even from. Like, bro, are you from the South? Where are you from? They're like, bro, it just sponged up so much shit. I've just been around everything, man. I've been all over the world, man. Just seeing so many different experiences. You know, we've been $1 million boardrooms. We've been in the fucking projects in Chicago. We've been everywhere. You know what I mean? Everything in between. So it's just everything.
Oh, it's like that's so
I want
exciting.
to experience life in every way that I can.
Do you have plans of ever writing a book?
I've thought about it, but the thing is, I do definitely want to write a book, but I don't necessarily want to like write a book about my life. You know what I mean? But I want to write a book about something cool. You know what I mean? What like I want to write a book and not make it all about me, but I do want to be an author. But I'm waiting for like the right idea to hit me of what I should actually write a book about.
I would read Okwerdz is how to be relevant for over a decade book.
That's interesting.
Because that's what the most fascinating part about you is, because if you look at like business books, they constantly talk about pivoting, but how many people pivot like Okwerdz is pivoted?
You got to keep
going. No, that's the thing that's why I always have wild respect for Okwerdz is that like the pivot was hard early. Like when I got on Twitch, and it's because of Holden, I'm like immediately like, yo, you know what though? Like Okwerdz already been here longer than any of my other friends. You know what I mean? Like longer than anybody else. He's been already on it. And I'm just like, yo, fuck. Like
I've been on Twitch for a minute, but like I said, I was on there real briefly for like 5 years. We're gonna do this big battle rap thing. We had meetings over at the Twitch headquarters. They were gonna partner us all. We're gonna do like rap battles in the jungle rap battles live on Twitch. That was our thing. And we had this big meeting, and the guys who worked there, who we were talking to, like two big guys, I think they ended up working somewhere else. You know what I mean? They ended up leaving Twitch or working at different companies, and it's just kind of never materialized. You know what I mean? But I still continue to like stream video games, but not that much because I just had like a $300 Toshiba laptop. It really couldn't handle the type of games that I wanted to play, so it was very inconsistent. And then over the last year with the quarantine and stuff, we started doing some speed runs, and we've had a very interesting response from the community.
Oh, because I was mad curious on the speed run thing. Because I got into speed running by accident. I just one day, because YouTube sends you down the YouTubes, right? And then one day you're like,
bro,
this video.
I just watched a 2-hour documentary on Killer Instinct because of that shit the other day.
Love it.
What the fuck?
I mean, but I saw that one of those videos for me was like the biggest upset in like speed run history, blah blah blah, fraud. Okay. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck? And then I started watching this guy, and I chain watched like 20 of his videos because it was just so his passion.
And this was on Twitch.
This is on YouTube. Okay. This is a guy who makes like thought piece videos commenting on speedrunning. Off top of my head, I can't remember his channel, but I could tell you after. And the dude just like writes like shit. Like he documents it. He tells what games he's into, and he like follows certain things. I learned about Perfect Dark challenges and like all the Mario Kart games, and I didn't even know anything. And then you just start delving in, and the next thing I feel like you realize, there are just games you could chart on.
Yeah, well, every game essentially has a world record, unless nobody plays it and nobody submitted one.
Yeah, so I mean, like, so how did
everything has a world record. I mean, fuck, the fastest person to run 50 feet, there's probably a fucking world record. You know what I mean? It's a world record for everything if you submit the shit, right?
Like, how did you end up finding it? Because to me, it was random, and then I come onto your channel, and that's what you're doing, and I'm
like, well,
not what I was expecting. I'm about to interview battle rap legend Okwerdz.
Right. It's kind of random how it all started, man. I guess I had to start, just as a kid, I was a big gamer. I liked, video games. But before I found out about Twitch, I honestly stopped playing video games for a long time and barely haven't really been playing them. And when I started fucking with Twitch, I was just trying to think of things I could do to bring more traffic to my channel. Like, what's something cool I could do on Twitch? And one of my ideas was, what if I raced against another rapper at a video game, right? So I had this like overlay made with like 2 boxes in it and figured out how we could stream with 2 people at the same time and like show everybody's screen and see where everybody's at. And I'm like, well, what game am I going to race? I just try to think of like, I guess realistically, what would be like my best game that I could play the best, that I know the best by heart, I guess. And I was like, well, that's Mega Man 1 on Nintendo. And I said, well, who the fuck would race Mega Man 1 from Nintendo against me? What rapper would fucking do this? And I thought, wait a minute, Mega Ran, he's a rapper named after Mega Man, and he plays video games. What a great idea. I'll fucking race. I'll race Mega Man against Mega Ran. That's what we're going to do. You know what I mean? Mega Man's a great guy, fantastic music. I love the guy. He's a nice person. So I hit him up, and of course he was down with the idea. He's like, yeah, let's fucking do it, right? Let's do a race. Just for fun. We're just 2 rappers fucking racing at a video game. Like, let's do it. And so I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to look stupid on this thing. Let me like fucking practice a little bit. You know what I mean? Let me see how to fucking play. I haven't played this game in a while, And I'm like, okay, well, let me fucking like look up like a speed run of the world record. Let's see how what these guys do. How's the fastest guy in the world do it? And I started watching it, and it looked impossible. And to this day, after all the speed runs I've done, Mega Man 1 on the NES is the 2nd most difficult game on the planet that I've ever speed run. And I started watching this video. I'm like, there's no way I can do any of this shit. This is ridiculous. Like, people are glitching through the wall and like getting items they're not even supposed to be able to reach on the same screens. Like, it's insane. The game is so broken. I'm like, no way. But I give it a try. And within like a week and a half or 2, I start getting kind of nice. And all of a sudden I'm landing some of these things that aren't so impossible after all. And I think it just got to the point where I just gotten like way too good. And it was no longer like a casual rappers like having fun kind of thing. And I think we both just kind of realized it at the same time. There was no like fucking official word. We didn't officially cancel. I think we're just both like, bro, there's not really any reason for us to do this. It's not the nature of the whole situation has changed. You know what I mean? I lightweight damn near just cheated in a way. You know what I mean? By just looking up speedrun shits, and I accidentally got kind of nice at this game. So we scrapped the idea of racing, and I ended up just started racing myself, and that's when it began. Now we're like 16 games deep. I have 3 world records. It's like I don't know what the fuck
games
happened.
Do you have world records for?
I have world records. Currently I have 2, and 1 just got beat. I got 1 in the Home Alone video game on NES. I have just got the video game. I just got the world record for Night Trap, which was one of the first controversial video games of all time. That's like responsible for the current like rating system of today's video games. Like, it was like congressmen were fucking calling this game evil in the early 90s. It was on Sega CD. And it was like around the time Mortal Kombat came out. Those were like the 2 big ones. Sense. Those were the 2 senators. Like, there's video clips of them playing scenes from the game in the courtroom and saying, this game is evil. You know what I mean? It's a huge deal. We got the world record for it last week. And I had the world record for Rampage, the big monsters that climb the buildings that they made the Rock movie.
I know that game.
Right. I had the world record for that. 2 fucking dickheads just came in and beat me. So now I'm currently 3rd place. I got to come back and beat that ass. I will be back. But those were the 3 world records that we had. But we got, top 10, top 5, top 8, top 15, top 20, top 100, and like 15 other games, man.
That's
dope.
We've been going
you
crazy.
just weren't. It's just not what you're expecting. I think when you're like, again, like
I didn't expect it. I don't know what happened, man. I did the Mega Man thing and was like, yo, what about this game? Oh, what about this game? Oh, I could do this one. And then it just kind of just started happening. I don't know.
And now you're literally able to just get buzz off of playing video games.
Hey, the Resident Evil community has been super cool to me. I've kind of found I've been on a Resident Evil binge lately, and I've been like speedrunning all of them practically. And it's what's fascinating is every game has its own speedrunning community. Like the people that do the Resident Evil speedruns, they don't know the Mega Man motherfuckers. They don't know the Ninja Turtles one. They don't talk.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like these are the Resident Evil, and even within the Resident Evil group, there's the people that, okay, I play RE1, I play RE2, I play RE3. Some people play all of them. You know what I mean? It's just like a different, like, and these people have kind of embraced me a little bit. And it's kind of like this weird thing for me to wrap my head around. My whole life, everyone has known me for rapping. And now there's literally people out there that only know me from playing Resident Evil. That's
crazy.
It's a trip. And then they find out later, they're like, oh shit, you have a song with Method Man. What the fuck? And then it just goes crazy, dude.
That's dope.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, all of that. That is crazy.
Swag.
Everything about that is like a serious situation. But how did you get into the radio show?
I started doing the podcast and
okay, so let's go with the podcast. How did you start doing the podcast? And then we'll roll that into the radio.
Randomly I just said one day, it'd be fun to do a podcast. And I just said, fuck it, let's try it. I went out and bought a couple of things. I've owned studios for 15, 20 years. So I have a lot of spare parts and equipment just lying around. So I bought a couple of things to adapt to the podcast environment. But for the most part, it was just shit I had laying around. And we just started filming podcasts. We ended up going viral a couple of times. We ended up getting Nate Diaz on the podcast. And it was an episode where he said some very serious things that went super viral within the MMA community, like all the biggest MMA publications. Like it was literally MMA news that day when it came out, and fucking UFC fighters were responding to shit that he said in my interview. And like the analysts on ESPN are like quoting shit from my podcast that Nate Diaz said and like talking about it. Like it's fucking crazy, man. Like the podcast, like
I remember that because I'm a fan. And I remember I'm not a fan enough that I would watch their podcast, like MMA podcast, or listen to them. But I remember seeing the links having like the screenshot of like a clip from your interview. You know what I mean?
The first one,
I know that it was your interview because you shared it and we're friends. I see it pop up on my timeline. You know what I mean? So I know what the video looked like.
It was crazy, man. The first one we did was bjpen.com. Huge website for MMA shit. bjpen.com did it. And then MMA Fighting, Bloody Elbow, just every MMA site that is. And these get big. These are like the world star of fucking MMA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this shit was going viral, bro. Like majorly viral. And like it was nuts, dude. And we lightweight, dude. We prophesized Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal. It's the first place he ever talked about fighting Jorge Masvidal. And the interview was done on the date, fucking like 5 years from the day that the fight actually ended up happening. Spooky shit. I don't know how we did.
That's so cool. So what's your podcast? Like I watched an interview that you did recently, but tell us more about your podcast in general. Like what do you do?
It's called Outside the Box. We have a wild range of people because I'm obviously into a wild range of random shit. We have rappers, actors, martial artists. We've had Tom Arnold. We've had Jill Stein, a presidential candidate, like just random groups of people. And over the pandemic, we kind of took a break and it used to be a thing in person and it wasn't live. And I would go directly to the person's habitat and film. Like we did an episode in Tom Arnold's bedroom. Like I went to Tom Arnold's house and fucking filmed a podcast with him in his living room. Like, what the fuck? But now with this whole pandemic shit, we've been doing it on Twitch via Zoom, kind of like how you guys are doing now. And so we've been doing it that way, maybe like 5-6 episodes in. Not too consistent because I just have so much other shit going on. But we had Diamond Dallas Page was our first episode, and it went kind of crazy for a second. It was fucking cool.
Oh, it's real dope. Honestly, that you like got through that. So you were doing the podcast, and that was just you on a whim decided to do it. You had access to the way to pull it off, brought your gear with you, and filmed on location. Why'd you choose to do that?
To do what? To get
Go
into
film
radio?
on
You said?
location. No,
Oh,
before the
well,
radio to
because
go on
you
location.
know, I just I wanted to be different. You know, I would watch all the popular podcasts and try to do it better and be like, well, what would I do differently? You know what I mean? Like I would watch like Joe Rogan. Like, okay, Joe Rogan is a world-renowned podcast. People love this podcast, but you know what? His video camera quality is kind of trash. Maybe I could fucking have a way better camera, and that would make it look cooler. You know what I mean? Or I would watch somebody else's podcast. Like, ooh, I like that transition. Let's do that. Or you know what I mean? I would watch like, okay, well, how would we actually do this? And we would go to, dude, it's actually quite way easier now that we do it on Zoom because I don't need anything. I would have to have a whole crew, bro. And sometimes these locations are in very inconvenient spots where we'd have to carry a lot of equipment upstairs and just set this whole room up. But I just wanted to be different. I wanted every set to be different. If I'm fucking interviewing Ernie Reyes Jr. from Ninja Turtles, then we're going to go interview him at their martial arts school with all the Ninja Turtles fucking memorabilia behind him. You know what I mean? I wanted to be like with the person. I just wanted to be different than any other podcast that I've seen. That's what I never want to like be like anybody else. I just wanted to do what I wanted the quality to look really nice. I wanted the intro to look sharp. I wanted to film it with good cameras. Like I just wanted to be nice. And that's what we did.
That's dope.
No, that's mad dope for reals though. I appreciate that, and it goes back to like when you were young and you had that appreciation for filmmaking. So in a sense, you're able to bring that filmmaking passion to light.
Right. I used to lightweight edit videos when I was a little kid, and I had no software. I would hook two VCRs up to each other, and I would manually hit record and chop things that way. I made little
dubbed VHSs.
Oh, yeah. He essentially is talking about making like the same thing as like a pause tape, mixtape, but like with videos.
I'm essentially cutting videos, and I would do it with like my favorite Jackie Chan fight scenes or some shit. When I was like a little kid.
You made YouTube compilation videos when you was a kid?
When they didn't even exist, man. I have it on VHS still somewhere in my mom's attic, probably.
All the YouTube compilations, like VH.
I never thought of it like that. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy.
That's what you did, though.
That's kind of crazy.
Even fake.
To say it that way. That's crazy.
Facts.
That's
like
crazy.
my guy did that shit with wrestling.
Before there was even equipment for him to be able to do that as a like civilian.
I just want to, and I didn't even think about it like that. I just want to watch the fucking fight scenes. You know what I mean? That's it. Yeah. I need a way for me to watch these fight scenes, so I don't gotta watch the whole movie sometimes. If I just want to watch fucking hour of fights, I can just throw this tape on and we good. You know what I mean? Or we do one with all the best stunts or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
That's really smart though.
I mean, I've edited all my own videos for like fucking 10 years, 20 years almost, you know what I mean? Except for like the really good ones, like the Method Man music videos, stuff like that. Stuff you could tell is clearly someone else, but like for the most part, dude, like all those old battle blogs I used to do, I make all those myself. I edit all that shit, add the music, all the fucking dumb shit, all the T-Rex's ear stuff. Oh, come on. All that stuff. Edit all that stuff.
I like your approach to life. So yeah, how did that migrate into radio? I guess just because you're already doing something.
Well, you know, I always had great relationships with the people that worked at KWIN, which is, like I said, we were talking about earlier, the big radio station that everybody grew up listening to. And, you know, in California, the biggest radio markets are going to be LA, the Bay, and like Sacramento. These are the biggest radio markets, right? Now, outside of those humongous markets, for the rest of the state, KWIN is one of the top ones outside of, like, this is a real legitimate radio station. Like, we have huge events. They got huge budgets to throw crazy shit. Like, you know, I interviewed Little John on fucking KWIN. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, Little John pulled up. Like, it's serious. And fucking, so, you know, I just always had great relationships with them as an artist my whole life. You know what I mean? Whenever I had a battle drop in or something, they always supported me because I was popping. You know what I mean? They fuck with what's popping, you know, and they would play songs of mine here and there. And they supported a bunch of my songs throughout my life. I always just knew them, you know, and from being around, they always see me around. I'm always at everything. So I think they may have had their eye on me a little bit when I was doing the podcast. And one day my DJ, DJ Expo, he just had an idea. He just called me one day. He's like, hey man, I was thinking about hitting up the program director and just seeing if he wants to let us do a radio show while I like spin records in the back. I was like, would you be down with that? I was like, yeah, sure, ask him. You know what I mean? I didn't really, didn't really think much of it. And we're at this whole other story, but we were at this fucking biker party in Stockton with Mac Mall and Bushwick Bill, randomly, the most random character. That's a whole other thing. And I just get this phone call, and Expo is just like, yo, man, he really wants to do the radio show. He's like, we have a radio show now. I was like, oh, do we? Okay. So now we have and I was at one point I was on like 5 days a week, man. And there again, it's another of those things where people know me from the radio show and they don't even know that I rap. You know what I mean? It's just they know me as the radio guy.
All right, so you're a podcasting YouTube. I just picture YouTube, but like wherever it was, styled video interview guy. Then you're also a radio guy. You're also a rapper, also a battle rapper.
Right.
You also speed run. Generally seem like that's a lot. That's a lot of different things to see. That's pivoting. I argue that's like the art of pivoting and making yourself stay relevant.
It can be rough overlapping sometimes, though. You feel like you don't give enough attention to all of them, though. That's a struggle with anybody who likes to do a lot of things. But you just, it's life. You got to balance it the best you can. You got to do when the passion's in your head to do something, you got to fucking do it.
But I mean, at the end of the day, you're still doing things. And a lot of people stop doing things because they didn't diversify a portfolio. They put too much stock in one area. And then when that thing doesn't pan out, because like take music or whatever, then they don't have the other skills. You got hit up with this situation and were able to completely leverage Twitch into a completely different opportunity whilst having other stuff in the bank ready to go for the second it gets unpaused, which gives you now an ability to do things like blend Twitch in real life and all kinds of stuff that didn't exist before. To me, you're like the Renaissance man of this era.
Hey, well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's just kind of, that battle rap ain't gonna last forever. You know what I mean? Where, I'm blessed that I've been able to be involved in the community for 20 years. People don't get that. People come flash in the pan for 2 years and they out. Someone gets humiliated, something happens and they're gone. There's a lot of weirdos get exposed and they disappear. They fall off. They do weird shit. You know what I mean? For me to be around for 20 years, like that's insane. That's not normal. It's not normal battle rap involvement. I'll tell you that right now. There's a very small amount of us. So, but I always had in mind, and I'm just a special case. For everybody else, battle rap is a much shorter lifespan. So you can't just be like, I'm gonna be a battle rapper forever. It's not gonna work that way. You know what I mean? You always have to have something that you're doing, something that you're propelling into. I knew that from the very beginning.
I mean, it's kind of like that with most things. I wouldn't even limit that to battle rapper. If you're just trying to be an artist,
period.
Come
it's
up
life,
now,
period.
Right.
You gotta advance.
Especially as you get older. You're supposed to just have new skills, but like, look at the crazy opportunities. Oh, forgot show writer. You're technically
I guess I'm a writer too.
Show writer, absolutely.
That's facts. Even if
I guess we got to do the book and a movie sometime too, man. The next step I want to get in a fucking movie or a TV show. That's what I want to get on next. I mean, we're close. We're behind the scenes, and I think there's actually a clip of Drop the Mic where they show us like in the behind the scenes with David Arquette for like a second. But like, I want to like really be on a fucking a movie or something.
I would watch the Okwerdz movie.
Hey man, thank you. I I don't need to do much. Like just put me in one of them stoner flicks where I can say a couple funny lines and just be out and just be myself. You know what I mean? I don't need to like cry on command or anything like that. I'm not gonna give a fucking pivotal Oscar-winning performance, but
I love it. I mean, I'm certain that now that you've spoken it out into the world, maybe somebody watches this one day and goes,
I've been wanting it for a while, man. Hopefully I can get in a movie with Jackie Chan, bro. That's it. That'll complete the circle.
Put it out into the world. Put it out into the world, bro.
I actually met Jackie Chan, man. I met Jackie Chan like 6 times in my life. It was like some of the greatest times of my entire life.
What were they like? You gotta go a little deeper.
Extremely nice person, man. It's just I met him, dude, during a crazy time in his life too, because when he was making the transition to America, when like Rush Hour hit, like I met him the day that Rush Hour came out, the first one, the first Rush Hour. I met Jackie Chan in the Bay. It's crazy, crazy. He's the best ever, man. I'll always cite him as my idol of everything for sure. And then like Ice Cube, probably Ice Cube second.
What did you say to him as a great question we just got?
What did I say? What did I say to Jackie Chan? Just like, thank you. Take a picture. That's like, I mean, what I don't want to hold people up, man. It's Jackie Chan. Everybody wants to Jackie Chan. You know what I'm saying? I probably couldn't even contain myself, dude. When you know what I mean? When I found out I was gonna meet him, like I couldn't even believe it, dude. It's like seeing Jackie Chan in real life when you're a fucking 13-year-old kid who's been watching his shit forever. It's like, wow. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And honestly, even in 2021, he's got to be one of the most famous people to ever live. Like, can you name like 10 people more famous than Jackie Chan? Like, seriously? I don't know. Maybe not.
It's a hard question because I haven't thought about it.
China is a big place, yo.
Yeah, China's a huge market. And he got China and America. It's very rare when you get both. It's very rare.
Yeah,
he's a super duper star, man. Like it was one of the greatest experiences of my life.
He's pretty world famous. Like everybody knows him.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
That's
Still got to meet Ice Cube, man. Still got to meet Ice Cube, though. That's my dream to work. Ice Cube and Jay-Z are my two favorite rappers of all time.
Somebody said in the comments, Lami asked that you mentioned Jay-Z and Ice Cube. Who would be your next favorite of all time?
Oh my God. You know, that list has just changed so much as I've got older because I know Ice Cube and Jay-Z is locked 1 and 2 for life. Like they're like here and everyone else is just fucking.
Yeah.
Hi. You know what I mean? Way down there. But my list has changed because there's people. Okay. I used to have like certain people like top 3 because I thought they rapped the best. You know what I mean? Like this person to out-rap this person for show, right? Mm-hmm. But now that I'm 38 years old, I have to look at the overall span of their catalog and their body of work now. I can't just say this person raps better, so he's top 3. Well, fucking Jay-Z has 15 amazing albums. Like, you can't stop that. You know what I mean? These are facts. You know what I mean? You got to take things, I think things differently now in terms of who my favorite is. And I don't know, man. My favorite, I might have to say E40 is my number 3, just based on full package of impact. How many great albums does he have? You know what I mean? All this is like the whole body of work. How influential he is. Do I like the things they say in the raps? You know what I mean? There's so much to it. And, you know,
I empathize.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say a third, but I just know Ice Cube and Jay-Z are locked. They're the best ever to ever do it.
Empathize with that. I like that you even said that too, because I feel like sometimes people don't understand that. Like as you get older, you're almost supposed to reevaluate certain things.
Yeah, you have to, man. Like you can't compare certain people. Like Jay-Z has had a long career where he could, and even Ice Cube, where they've just had over 10 great albums. Like, how could you compare
Jay's catalog is pretty stupendous. Like there's like the level how could you compare that level of writing so well, and that the music is so good for so long, unquestionably. Like you can, there's people that can be like, nah, there's questions because I don't like him. It's like that's okay that you don't like him, but
there are facts that you have to deal with.
But the difference between like him and like maybe like somebody else that you might say that about is like he doesn't need you to like him. He's going to sell records because he stays relevant, because he stays on top of his craft enough to satisfy the majority of the fan base that's out there that like listens to hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, so, I look at it. I look at who my favorite is just based on so many different things now that I've had time to just be a rap fan for fucking many decades now. You know what I mean? And just see this shit over the years. And you know, it's about everything, man. Of course, it's do they rap good? Do you like how they rap? But it's the body of work, man. It's the impact they had on the world. It's and you know, it may sound shitty to say, like, you might not be able to be the best rapper of all time if you haven't had at least one platinum album. You know what I mean? Yeah. Can I call you the best of all time if you haven't had one? You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, that's a shitty way to say it, sales, because sometimes dumb shit sales, but like it's a part of the package. You know what I mean?
You know what?
And also, I think
outside,
I also think outside of rap matters. What you do outside too. Like Ice Cube is a fucking boss. He owns a basketball team. He had legendary.
He owns a
you know what I mean?
studio.
Yeah,
bro.
he has legendary movies. Like the impact. I'm looking at these motherfuckers. The overall impact of everything, not just. Do I think they rap good, but also I think Ice Cube raps better than everybody, and I think Ice Cube raps about the most important things that any rapper has ever rapped about. I think he has the best content in rap history that you could listen to an Ice Cube song from 1992 and maybe aside from like the datedness of the beat and style of the recording, the things he's saying could have been written yesterday. And not too many people can do that. It's just different. It's just different level. I've got a great argument for Jay-Z and Ice Cube GOAT status that I don't think anyone could ever fuck with. I would just torture everyone's soul. Details why they're the best two ever.
I mean, I definitely agree with you with the J. You know that I'm not a huge Cube fan. We've talked about this, but it's not something that I'm also gonna fight either. Where it's just like, yo, it's understandable.
Because you may not personally like him, but you know that like he is Cube, up there.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Cube's pen is super up there. Like just because somebody's pen doesn't appeal to me. But you know what I was gonna tell you? Actually, when it comes to sales and like the best rappers and things like that, there's like a special that happened like maybe 14, 15 years ago, like on MTV, and Sway hosted it. And it was just a one-off special he was doing for MTV, and it was like tracking like the trajectory of like the best rappers, and like noticeably the best rappers, quote unquote, like in the game always sold a lot of records. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter who it is at what point. When it was Rakim back in the days, he sold a lot of records for back in them days.
Right. If you're gonna be the best rapper of all time, you gotta have at least one. I think.
You're gonna have a strong fan.
You don't have to be like the pop sensation that sold the most fucking records of all time. But I mean, it's just a part of the whole package. It's a part of the whole. I'm saying the whole package, everything.
Yeah.
I think it makes a lot of sense because
we're older now. It's not just he raps
but
better.
It's also like it's like the world is now watching, right? So like to get to platinum, there's a good chance you're probably doing well, at least in the States with the numbers that are there, that you're doing well in a lot of places. And both like Ice Cube and Jay-Z aren't just revered in one place. They're they're
everywhere, man.
Up here. Like they mentioned all the top 5 conversations up here. Both those guys constantly come up.
Always.
I'm pretty sure you could pick.
Jay and Cube always mentioned. And even if they don't agree with you, they can respect it and be like, well, he's part of the argument. He's not necessarily wrong, even though it's not my particular cup of tea.
Like they're like in the same $5 tier on that meme where you have to build a concert team with like this much of a budget. Like they're in the same bracket there. So
I always waste all my money on Ice Cube and Jay and just spend $1 on whoever the fuck is at the end.
You know what? Like they can hold down the show.
Yo,
that's what it is.
I'm mystified that they've never done a song. What the fuck? Why? I've never had any notable beefs.
It's probably just one of those things where it's just like two boss motherfuckers that are like, yo, I don't got to, you know, like.
But how crazy if Ice Cube and Jay-Z did a song, man.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of.
Like to listen.
We need that. We need that in the world. We need that. And I also would like to see Method Man and Ice Cube on a song. Actually, my boys who produced the song for me and Meth, they do a lot of work for Ice Cube. They're from Stockton, and they've done a lot of production for Ice Cube. And I would really love to link those two up. I would really like to see just Cube and Meth on the song. I don't even need to be on. I would just like to see them work together because it would be cool.
I would like to listen to that song personally. I really like Ice Cube a lot. I'm
man, he's the best. He's the best, man.
But even
probably the reason I rap, literally the reason I rap is Ice Cube, I would say.
But like I've liked Ice Cube for a long time. Like I remember I was working in a warehouse one time and I heard that like, yo, if you fucked up, put your cups up. Ice Cube and stuff. And I'm just like, yo,
Right.
the nicest shit I ever heard. I remember hearing that song and then like that whole era and like it was all the hits on YouTube.
Yeah, all his new shit's fire too. His last album, Everything Corrupt, is fire, bro. He's shitting on
cop.
Yeah, he's shitting on Trump. He's shitting on everybody hard, bro. It's pretty crazy. It's a pretty crazy album, man. I love it. I love it. Like that. I feel like his music is just wild intelligent. I feel like he has certain albums that could be deconstructed in a fucking college course that you could fucking learn a lot if they taught this in a school. If you took like The Predator or America's Most Wanted and you really like unpacked it and talked about it in a classroom setting, I really think it would be a fucking crazy thing. I hate school and I would go to that class.
Nah, for real though. We did a review of America's Most Wanted, and yo, honestly, you're not wrong. We didn't do it. Like you could probably spend 6 to 8 hours on that album and not run out of things to talk about.
It's so smart. It's like that's really the thing about Ice Cube is just so smart. Just the boss moves and intelligence that he's always had. It's just very smart.
You know what's interesting about him is my girlfriend really likes his shit. And I say that because it's significant that somebody who, with the topics he has, because such a powerful presence with women, and that isn't common with the general. And I'm saying it like, yo, I'm not talking about like the girls who like rap. I mean, girls in general like Ice Cube in a bigger way,
sure.
And it might have everything to do with the movies. It might.
I mean, Friday. Everybody loves Friday. I don't know anybody. I've never met a person that does not like the movie Friday. I do not know if it exists.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Is there anyone out there in the chat? Maybe does anybody dislike the movie Friday? I've never. Or have you? Better question. Have you ever met someone who dislikes the movie Friday? I never have. Never have.
At most, they haven't seen it.
I've never seen someone that disliked that movie. It's a fucking classic. One, maybe the best stoner movie ever. It could possibly.
But even
be.
like. To that end, you have stuff like the kids movies, the like everything.
Kids was fire.
He's so versatile with like his movie making.
Yeah.
And then it's just like he's very like how do you go on Ellen and then at the same time drop your albums and shit and like have Ellen be part of your like hard ass albums?
It's just another, that's why he's such a big inspiration to me because I'm into a lot of different things and Ice Cube is on the same wavelength, you know what I mean? And even Jay-Z, even though he doesn't really do movies, but he's on the same wavelength as far as doing things outside of rap as well. Cool. You know what I mean? I'm really into that whole that whole situation. Ice Cube, that's why the raps, the impact, like everything about him I fuck with. I just fuck with him, man.
I fucks with Jay-Z too. I mean, absolutely. I had to learn to like Jay-Z's music because it like took me a minute because if we talk about smart, we have to give Jay-Z his credit.
Man, we was on that Reasonable Doubt so tough out here.
Early.
Oh my God.
Gems. He was dropping
That's Reasonable Doubt, boy.
Gems on Life from the first album and like the last album that he put out was 444. He was still doing that.
Word.
That Reasonable Doubt, baby.
No, but it's like really cool, like when you do it, and then everything in between. It's like honestly, at one point I was like kind of not into like his more pop sounds in the 2010s, but then I started.
That's what I love about him, man.
But then I started listening to it again now, and I'm like, I really love this shit. What was I talking about ever? This is such good music.
That's what's so good about Jay because everybody loved Jay. The gangsters love Jay. The backpackers love Jay. The bar motherfuckers love Jay. Like just Jay is just good at everything. He can make a pop song and spit some bars on it. And make everybody happy in one shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
It's tough to do, man. It's tough to do. It's very tough to do.
No, I like why you picked these people. That's really
they're the
cool
best. That's like I said, when you're a kid, you're like, I think he raps better. He's my favorite. Well, now, I'm an adult. We have to really think about this. Why is this guy the best?
I fucks with that a lot. I really appreciate that.
There's context behind it. When you start understanding more than just like your average, I'm just listening here. When you start understanding like what it takes to like have longevity, what it takes to be consistent, what it takes to be, bring a pen game that you're constantly pushing yourself,
right,
and you're constantly elevating to, like, all that stuff bears so much factor that people don't realize. Like,
yeah,
I get it. Like, Biggie, is the one that like got me into hip hop like that, right? Like,
Biggie's
Ready to Die
incredible.
was the album that like
That's my
turned
second
me
favorite
out.
rap album
But
of all
like,
time.
it would be like, yo, so unfair to like everybody else who like got to live out their lives and got to put out a catalog if I, knowing what I know about like what it takes for all of this, I think it'd be a disservice to the guys that like actually get to put in the work and,
right,
put up the big numbers because they actually produce. Like,
most definitely. And not only that, I feel like who the best rapper of all time and who the best rapper is, I feel are two completely different lists. If we're talking about who raps the best, it's different also. You know what I mean? Just strictly only who raps the best. No impact, no albums, no body of work.
Yeah.
Just 16 bars who fucking raps the best. It's a whole different conversation.
Yeah. Like if we were to like keeping on this theme of like Pokemon cards or collecting, right? Like if we were to all have like our rapper that we are like, okay, this guy, I'd put him up against any other rapper rapping, right? Because then, I'd be like, yo, I'm going to probably pick Tragedy Gaddafi. Like that's going to be the guy that I'm like, I'm hedging my bets on him. That's where I'm going with it. But if that's not what we're talking about, if we're talking about like real solid, like,
everything,
something
package,
more concrete and it's everything, then like, you got to take into consideration like people like Jay and people you like Snoop, like Cube, like a lot of dudes that like people probably don't want to put into the conversation, but it's like
right. And if you're talking about just straight lyricism, then I would say Black Thought's probably the best rapper alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's just, but does Black Thought have 10 fucking albums that I love like Ice Cube? He doesn't. You know what I mean? That's just, it's no disrespect. He can rap circles around me any moment in life.
Absolutely.
That's disrespect. But that's just the fact.
Why we like we were talking about with battles earlier, like there's art, like art is subjective. Like, like at any point, anybody can dislike any piece of art and they are well within their rights as a human being alive, right? Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't just like hit the right frequencies for you as a human being, then like you're just not gonna rock with it. Then nobody can tell you about that, like it's what it is.
Right, but Black Thought does rap better than everybody on planet Earth.
Nah, Black Thought's amazing.
Black Thought's
and his consistency for so long,
insane.
Yo, when I found out that he freestyled like the whole first Roots album, I was like,
and I'm so happy for him to have the TV gig, the consistent TV gig. I'm so happy.
Yeah. Now that's another facet of like us breaking down the barrier in like with hip hop, like. Yo, we're like, we are now like a show band, a TV show band.
Right. Like that's work every day right there. Those motherfuckers.
Like that's a great check. Like I know that those guys are really happy that they're going to be able to pass on some like generational wealth to their like,
absolutely,
man, their children.
Absolutely.
Nah, it's totally dope. So, what are your like plans once this whole lockdown ends? Because I imagine we're gonna catch you on Twitch for the next little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing some speed runs. Obviously, Resident Evil 8 comes out in like a month. We're gonna be going crazy on that. We're gonna try and get some early speed runs during the development of that whole route. But lots of music's coming. I've been writing the whole time during the fucking quarantine as well. Just haven't been in the studio. We've been privileged enough to be able to record in really nice studios for all the new stuff with like the fucking $10,000 Beyonce mics and shit like that. So I'd really rather wait so I can get back in there, but if it's too long, then I'll do what I have to do. But, chilling on the recording it, but I just been writing. So music, the E40 things coming out, the vinyl with Meth is coming, more speed runs, more podcasts. Going to drop some of the solo records, maybe an album even, who knows? Who knows what could be next? Maybe we'll write a book and do a movie. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. Maybe I'll become a garbage man too. I don't know. What the fuck else can we do?
That's an amazing answer. I like that you gave respect to the garbage men in there because they're
Hey, it's
legit
actually a
people.
fire job, to be
Yo,
No, I
honest.
they
heard
get
it.
paid very well. They make
I'm
amazing salaries.
My
How's
whole
Those
the
life,
guys,
workout?
I just
The
heard
workout.
teachers. My whole life, I just heard teachers shitting on garbage men. My whole fucking life in
yeah,
school.
yeah,
Mind
Me
you,
too.
they're not making as much money as a garbage man.
nope.
But the other part, it's like one of those jobs where you don't have to go to the gym after because you're doing the
Right.
exercise while
Yes,
you at work.
Right.
And I'm very envious of any occupation that allows you to work out while you at
Yeah,
work.
I
That's
feel like
fair.
that about my job because like
That's good for you, man.
stagehand work is that like there's like I mean compared to general labor, there's a huge difference between stagehand work and general labor, right? So it's
Right.
like I wouldn't, like move somebody. Like I'm not looking to help like, people move. Like one
Right.
time I
Right.
helped a friend move and I was just like, nah, I'm not never doing
It's a
this
lot.
again. Like what? Like
Man, I have a
this is
truck, so
this is
everybody always
nah,
hits me up to move.
hire people that are
Oh.
gonna do that. But like
You are that guy.
stagehand work, like there is a physical aspect to it, and
Right.
there's a lot of like workout that goes into it, and
There is.
it's
It's
like
good.
it's really great to get paid well to do a particular trade that not many people can do and
Keep you in shape.
a nice exercise then.
No, that's really good, man. That's
No,
about
that's it.
all you can
It's
ask
like,
for.
I swear there are days where I'm in this chair like 12 hours and I'm like just like fucking like not all just for like Twitch or streaming or whatever, but it's because like my day job is also
Yeah,
just
nah, I
in this
already know.
room in this chair. So from like 9 to 5 and then we do like maybe a 4-hour thing after. And then sure, maybe I'll get up in between, but all my prep work's in the chair. So
Right.
it's just like it's not ideal. It's just so I think a lot about people who like get to move at work. It's like
Right. No,
this
it's good. It's helpful.
Yeah,
Man.
nah, I appreciate it. Like I really genuinely like love my, and then I get to like change sceneries on a regular basis. Like there's different events happening, different places that we got to set up stages and lights and videos and I
Right.
always thought to myself
Wow.
like it is like the illest like dream and fantasy is like what like get big and like get to go on tour and like what like help the guys
Now you know how to set the shit up.
set up like what
Let's go.
you thought
That's that
I was
independent
too rich
shit.
to do this.
That's that independent shit
Let
right
me
there.
show you I get down with this. Let's set up my stage.
Hey,
Let's set up my stage for the show.
That's that Jackie Chan shit right
how
there.
much more productivity, how much more on point my light show and my stage and my sound will be than every other act out there. Like people don't know. Like what?
Hey, that's
I
that Jackie
believe
Chan
you.
shit. That's that Jackie Chan shit, bro. I'm telling you, this motherfucker does everything. He'll write the movie, he'll direct the movie, he'll do all the stunts in the movie, he'll be the main actor, and he'll mop the fucking floor. Do it all.
Yo, that's amazing. I respect that a lot though. But I also feel like it's just so useful to live like that now because the more roles you can get involved with, it's not necessarily doing all the work, but that you
You're
can
right,
get
Bunny.
involved with. It is. But like the more you can kind of make sure everybody that's involved is the right people to be involved with it. That's more where it's
Definitely.
advantageous. It's not necessarily like because your delegation is not important. I'm not even gonna like you got to be able to do that. But how can you delegate effectively if you've never done the job? Like I'm not really a fan of video editing, but I had to do a lot of years of learning how it works.
I feel you. I actually enjoy it. It's funny.
I never. So here's the thing. I like it at a conceptual level.
Hey guys, I gotta take a piss real quick. Hold on.
Yo, do your
Hold on
thing.
1 second.
Yo, right. That's dope. It makes me feel better that somebody else would ever have to,
Yeah, I mean, it's
have
a natural
bladder of
human.
steel, fuck, man. I don't know how you go fucking, or I guess you just disappeared. You don't say anything.
Yeah. Nah, I just disappeared. I totally used the bathroom when I disappeared. I just don't say anything. You know what I mean? Like you're here, you're keeping the conversation going. I could hear everything happening, keep the bathroom door open so that I don't, yeah.
That's mad bless. So yeah.
Mute the mic so you guys don't hear me on my end.
That's
echo. An echo.
Hilarious. Nah, but it's good. It's good. I'm enjoying this. Chris, you can edit this up.
Yo, Okwerdz has lived a dope ass life and like a.
No, it's really like pretty amazing. I'm like honestly like it's interesting to see how people like just leverage the opportunities of life, right? Like you read a lot of books, and if you really look at how these like really smart people construct the DIY books or the self-help books, it's they really just get a bunch of stories like this, right?
Two podcasts for one today.
Ha!
Sorry.
That's amazing. Oh, that's so cute. So cute. That's the one that's from the emote.
Yeah, this is the emote. This is Cloud. It's the boy.
Oh,
that's amazing. I know my girlfriend's gonna be real happy when she notices a cat.
Sometimes he jumps in the middle of my speed runs at the hardest parts and decides to walk on the keyboard.
Classic cats.
Classic mode.
Oh. Nah, but like,
all right, Cloud, peace.
Okwerdz is definitely the kind of guy that you would like quote in a business book on how like your life is like an example of just so many principles I've read about. And it's
man,
so
I
cool
read business books and they sound so outdated, and I'm like fucking pissed that I bought them.
Yeah, but they're useful to understand how to speak to older people.
You know what's fucked up about business books, man? By the time you take the time to write it and get it published and put it out, the shit is already lightweight obsolete. And there's already some newer shit that you should be doing instead.
That's most like with books, that recent move with the stocks and the GameStop thing, where I was just like, I didn't understand why everybody who heard about this through the new mainstream media news then decided to invest. Well, I'm like, why would,
let me tell you a funny story. Let me tell you a funny story.
Clearly, if it's in the mainstream media, it's now known to millions of people. You're not at the same advantage point that the other guys that did this move to.
It's because they didn't read Vantage Point to learn this stuff.
Right. Let me tell you a story. The last marketing book that I read, so outdated. They said that Amazon should stick to selling books and they'll never make it selling other things.
But every now and again, if you read them, you'll find some really good ones. Like
I was like, this book is a piece of shit.
That one sounds pretty stupid.
Like, oh my God, man. Sometimes books are so dumb. I see them, I'm just like, bro, like we've been on that. This old shit. Where's the shit that I'm supposed to get from this book?
No, a lot of that, half those books are sales pitches, but then you get like some good ones where the dudes is like a little more like actually the
best books I ever read was about how to treat people. That changed everything more so than any other book that I've ever read on anything, or how to communicate better. Those are the type of books that are useful. Don't read the fucking 48 Laws of Power bullshit. It's not that good. It actually teaches you to be a dickhead.
That's why I read that. I find it. So
I use it so I can spot dickheads.
That's okay. So here's the thing. I just gotta say, like, I read that book and like I got into a situation where I went into corporate like life and I started dealing with the kinds of people who know how to play that game. And I read 48 Laws of Power, and it taught me how to do better at work. And you know what? There's a lot of negatives that you can get out of that book. But the first chapter is like, this isn't really for you unless you're in a position where you're around a bunch of dickheads. Here's how to spot that shit. And that's what I took from that book.
Right. No, definitely the reversals for sure. I think like I call it the nice person's version of the 48 Laws of Power is how to win friends and influence people. It's the worst title on the planet. It sounds like some corny shit, like you're how to talk to girls or something. It's fucking stupid. But if you actually read it, it's not even about getting friends or influencing people. It's not even what the book is about. It's about, I can't even explain. It's about the way you communicate and treat people.
No, you're absolutely right.
The byproduct of that is naturally people will do things and treat you the way that you want them to, based on just that. You know what I mean?
The other side of it
is it's a very interesting book. I read people with it sometimes. It's funny.
I read that book too. Like I read a lot of them. I read a lot of these things. And I definitely think like I would recommend people read both of them because like something like How to Win Friends and Influence People is how you keep your conscience.
It's a great book, man. I really enjoy
48 Laws of Power is really effective at teaching somebody like naive ass me who probably couldn't spot a thing in my life what some dark shit looks like so that I can better maneuver in the future. And How to Win Friends and Influence People doesn't go into 636 pages of historical examples of shit.
Right.
So it's like for me, and then I read a lot of Robert Greene's books. I know he gets a lot of whatever reputations. I read Art of Seduction, and I'm like, oh, that helped me be a better marketer.
I'm working on that right now. Actually, I have that.
And you know what? It's a bizarre book, but like, end of the day, if you're looking at it like trying to have sex, it's one thing. But if you take seduction,
that's not even it.
It's not
seduction,
what it is.
Yeah, seduction means many things.
So like, but I'm into marketing. So my job a little bit is to be a good marketer. So I read like that and I became a better marketer. If you want a really good marketing book, is Made to Stick. This shit's by somebody or another, but that shit, it's not even that long. These dudes is fine. They don't need my money per se, but they taught me a lot about what makes particular ideas sticky on social media. I read it years after it came out. It made me a better social media person. So like, there are a few, but I agree with you that most of it's bullshit.
Yeah, a lot of them are trash. One of my favorite books is Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I'm a big David Goggins guy. I don't know if you fuck with David. You know about David Goggins, Dutch?
Right.
I'm not sure who David Goggins is.
Everybody go follow David Goggins immediately.
I'm not sure.
It'll change your whole fucking life. But his book is this dude is crazy, man. I can't even explain David Goggins to someone that doesn't know. It's crazy. You just have to look him up.
Yo, Panic, can you turn your mic off, bro?
Yo, my mic's on. Yo, my bad.
Hey, no stress, man.
It's all good. Sorry, David. Who's David Goggins?
David Goggins, man. He's a fucking military guy. Had the most insane fucking life. He's been through some dark shit. And the book is called Can't Hurt Me. And man, it'll help you just dig deep. That's all I can say.
I like that.
Teaches you to dig deep. The exact mind frame that he was in during the worst fucking moments where he had to still just clutch shit out. You know what I mean? And,
like that.
And it's that kind of his mindset is nuts, man. This dude has a world record for the most pull-ups. This dude fucking he went to what's that fucking goddamn it, the SEAL training, the really terrible one where they practically drown you. I forget the name of it. He did that shit like 3 times, bro. Like insane. Like the dude, he's one of the best, man. His book will change you. Read that shit. I highly recommend it.
No, dude, I'm an avid reader. I'm really into
like
it.
That book will change you. That and the How to Win Friends and Influence People. Those are my 2 favorite books ever. I read a lot of other random shit. Revolutionary Suicide is one of my favorite books by Huey P. Newton. It's a fucking crazy book as well, about just how the Black Panthers formed and just like everything they tried to do to them. It's just some really heavy shit in there. I highly recommend that as well.
I'm into it. I'm gonna make
sure that's one of my favorite books ever. That's why I read that shit, like blew my fucking face off.
For real though, I take book recommendations.
Blew my fucking face off. Absolutely blew my face. It's amazing. It's an amazing book. Highly recommended. Those 3 books right there. If you're looking for 3 books, get those 3 books.
Yeah, I should ask people their top 3 books more often. That's a fucking blessed idea. That's a cool thing. I like that a lot. But yeah, I like to say no, man. Honestly, you've had a crazy, interesting life. I'm not sure where else to go with this conversation. I'm running out of like my brain is like hitting that.
Hey, no stress, man. I got to get to these fights too. I got to see my boy Francis and Stipe get it in tonight. This is, I don't even know. I don't know who's gonna win. I love them both. I just hope none of them gets hurt. I love them both. They're so cool.
Oh, fair enough. Totally appreciate that. But yeah, so thank you for coming through. I really just have that to say. It's great.
Bless. Yo.
Hey, glad you guys enjoyed.
You already know, bro. Thank you so much for doing me the favor. You know what I mean?
For sure, man. I'm coming to New York soon, man. First order of business. So I'll be at you.
Yeah, definitely. Holla. Let me know. You already know. I've already been told you. you know.
Hey, appreciate everybody in the chat too, man. Feel free to follow me on my Twitch as well. We do some speed runs and podcasts. I'll drop the cloud emotes so you know it's real. Bang.
Definitely make sure to follow them. Make sure to follow also end of the week over on YouTube.
Definitely
Subscribe to the channel,
man.
EOW TV over there. Make sure to follow and subscribe everything and everyone. And we really appreciate that for real that y'all came through like that. So on that note, I don't have anything more to really say at this point. It's been
he already gave the crowd the shout out for you.
That's it. You stole that from me.
The man handled the business for you.
We in there.
He was like, "Yo, I'm saying cut, bro, cut. We cut." Shit. Let me hit Danny.
No, it's fair enough. All right, I'm gonna start the raid on my end.
There you go.
And that's just kind of how it is, you know. We do the little raids on the raid people.
Yes, sir.
Let's get them. Give me a second. I'm doing that, and then the stream will be done, everyone. In my case, it'll be in 10 seconds.
Let's go. DJ Blaster, let's get it.
Yeah, DJ Blaster is the drunkest DJ in Canada.
There you go.
That's how he brands himself, and he's
that's a bold statement as well.
But the Canada is okay with it. Like, people don't hate on that. So I am definitely
cool. Well, hey, appreciate you guys, man.
Yo, appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
I know, man.
Hey, y'all have a wonderful evening. All right.
Wow, interesting. Dope ass
movie, man. Thank you, guys.
You
guys have a good one.
Bless. Have a good night, bro.
Peace. Bang bang. Peace. Bong bong, and blah blah.
Okay, we're still live on the EOW one. Thank you, everybody, for who tuned in.
Yeah, make sure to subscribe on this EOW one.
Make sure to share the video, hit the like button, leave a comment. All the comments help for the algorithms to pick up the videos and get more views for the stuff you like, right?
Yeah. Fair. I don't know how to end the stream.
But you don't end the stream.
No. I'm just saying it for like the sake of it. But it does turn out I read that Black Panthers book. That's what I just found out. I've already read that Huey Lewis book. Bonnie's like, you read that. You should have said that on the stream while he was there. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I read 2 of his 3 already. That's pretty blessed. That's pretty cool for me.
Well,
I don't know.
Well read.
Yeah, I like the reading.
Don't even remember.
Nah, sometimes you forget like the specific ones. And then you just like lost it and
gotta make space.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't read as much this year. It's been slower.
Been busy with the stuff. Been busy with the shows and stuff. Busy with work.
But it's also like I read so much last year that my brain had to like stop. Like it's almost like working out, right? Like you're supposed to stop for a minute to let your body rest and get that like recovery, because technically it's like damaging. In the same way, it's like you shove all that information in and then what? Do you ever like meditate on it? Or if you just keep going at the same rate forever, it's probably not the smartest. And then at some point I'll get back into it at that venacity and it'll become like something I'm obsessed with again. But I find I don't read and write at the same time. Like if I'm writing, I'm not reading as much. And then I don't do those 2 activities with the same passion. So I'm in a writing mode more.
Work. I'm always in a writing mode. I read mostly like online articles. Not too much of a fan